What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Shacknews Twitch channel. It is Monday, sometime in the afternoon, evening, depending on what part of the world you're in. It's February 28th, last day of the month. We're here with the 121st episode of the Wide World of Electronic Sports. We're here with the host of the most, talking Brian, Phil, Rodney. What's going on, guys?
Yo, Chris, how you doing? Thank you so much for the intro. Yes, it is another wide world of electronic sports here on a fabulous Monday, episode 121. I am Bryan Lefler. So happy to be joined by my awesome co-hosts, Rodney Conyers Jr. How you doing today, friend?
I'm doing really well. We got a special episode, so I'm
Yeah,
I'm strapped in and ready.
nice. And Phil, the phenomenal Visu. How are you doing today, friend?
Big chilling, back from Vegas, all Gucci, all gang. You know how it is, man.
Beautiful. Love to hear it. And yes, we are joined by a special guest. We have another interview today. We actually have a couple, but first, we're going to get to our first interview with the man, the myth, the legend, Homemade Waffles.
Hello
Brandon, how
there.
are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you all?
Doing so great. We're really happy to have you on the show. Thank you so much for joining us. Let's just get right into our first topic of the day, and one that obviously you're going to have a lot of thoughts on. We all have thoughts on, and that's the Evo news coming out from Sony. Evo officially declared that Smash will not be at Evo this year, probably not next year, probably not ever. No Smash, no version of it. It's just not going to be available. I'm going to let you talk about your thoughts on that, Brandon. What do you think of this announcement coming out of Evo?
Um, I don't know if it's apathetic, but I kind of wasn't surprised. I just feel like since it's a Sony event, Nintendo, like that whole clash is just a thing. So I just figured they wouldn't have it because it's for another, like, it's like if Microsoft, same thing. Like I just feel like Nintendo only kind of works within the realm of Nintendo. So that's what I would assume why it wouldn't be there. But I mean, how I feel about it as far as, like, the community. I mean, it sucks for Smash as a whole, but I mean, this also is, it's like it could be a blessing depending on like what comes in the process. Like maybe there's something like the horizon could be bigger for Smash or whatever, because you know
That's right.
they could do something else. I don't know.
Keep that optimism up, Brandon. You want to know the truth?
Here
You
it
want to hear
comes.
some real talk?
What's up, bro?
Evo, for the longest time, was ran by that bum ass Mr. Wizard or whatever his name is. Okay, whose best friend's probably EDP Cupcake Gang. All right,
Oh wow.
both of them, as far as I'm
Okay.
concerned, can kick rocks. Evo itself has always been an overrated experience for Smash. Don't get it
Yeah.
twisted. It's got some dope ass people on the team. I think freaking the dudes from 10-0 are dope. Chris Seggs, that's my guy. Like, no cap about that. I think the dude who took over it now, like Rick,
Yeah, Rick.
he ran a comp, he runs comp breaker. He's gonna clean that image up around. Like, even without Smash, like, they're gonna do, a terrific job. And obviously Vegas is just like a destination spot. But as far as Smash goes, how many times was Smash the most entered into game and just disrespect? I remember that one year we didn't get like the stadium or whatever. I think we finished the tournament on a Saturday. I'm like, are you kidding me? You
Yeah.
bums? How many entrants we got? For years and upon years, I've been telling people this is the Super Bowl of fighting games. It's not the Super Bowl of Smash. That title, in my opinion, has always belonged to Genesis. I firmly stamp that and stand by that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
am I disappointed that Smash won't be at Evo? No, I don't give a shit. I really don't. You know what I'm saying? Nothing of value was lost, in my opinion. People are using this as an excuse to go hashtag F Nintendo. I get it, okay? I get it. Evo, eyes on the prize, whatever.
Mhm.
Actually being there and getting the treatment in past years, kind of dog shit. This year would have been awesome because, again, Rick, he's an amazing TO. He would have done us right. But it is what it is. Ain't nothing to cry about, sulk about, baby. On to the next.
Yeah, I
We
mean,
That's my
need Evo.
yeah, we've been doing our own thing for a while. And, from my experience, I've also had a shit experience with Mr. Wizard, so
see.
fuck that
You get
There
guy.
you
it.
go.
But you know, sometimes it's cool just to have like everything in one together. But I mean, I agree with you. Feel like the tournament experience, at least from my experience, has always been kind of shit. You know,
It's
they
mid.
like,
He doesn't care.
yeah.
This is
Fuck your shit, Brandon.
this
I
is
mean,
a
it
guy,
has. It's just,
Mr. Wizard or whatever. Yeah, Mr. Wizard. I remember one time when they were announcing reluctantly, yeah, we're gonna have, we're gonna have a Smash Maggie, we're gonna have Smash Ultimate. I remember the guy from Mexico wanted the guy from Mexico. His name is Leo. Okay, Leo, you ignorant bitch. I'm glad you're done. It feels so good to get this off my chest. My chest feels so good to get this off my chest. Woo!
Talk your
Shouts
shit.
to
So,
Evo. The new
yeah.
direction, the new owners of Evo, because I like that Rick guy. I hope he does well. I heard Pokey's a principal investor too. Shouts to Pokey. But I don't care. I'm good.
Yeah, I got a story about it.
it's
I'm sorry, Rod. With
no, you good. Go ahead, bro.
so this was like Evo 2014. Might have been even 20. It might have been. I think it was 2014. I think it was the one where Mango won back to back. That was 2014.
Mhm.
So yeah, we were Blur, shouts to Blur and Dindy Pretendy. They drive all the CRTs for Melee from SoCal to Vegas, right? And they need help, like, because it's a lot of TVs, and so we're in the area. It's late. We're like, all right, I got you, Blur, right? So me, Violence, a couple other people. Shouts to everybody who was there that night. We help. We put the TVs. We set them up. It's like 20-ish or so. Mind you, this is all they had for the whole event. Mind you, thousands of people are going to be playing. So we only got like 25 TVs. It's not a lot for like 1,000, 2,000 man tournament. We fix it. We set it up. Right. We're all like in a huddle, just like kind of waiting. Blur's like waiting. He's like, yeah, I'm waiting for Mr. Wizard. Mr. Wizard comes up. He looks at all of us. Which one of you do I pay? He has no idea who was in charge of the whole. Blur was like the main facilitator. He had no idea who Blur was or just anything. Didn't say thank you. Nothing. Just gave Blur what was his money, walked off. But yeah, I mean, I'm just shitting on Mr. I don't know the guy, but like that was pretty shitty. So
I mean, honestly, first impression of everything, bro. So I mean, let's just call it for what it is.
Yeah,
And I definitely agree with you.
I can't speak on bro like that, but just from that one experience and then the whole thing with him, I was just like, oh damn.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Kinda
Trouble
crazy.
always finds a way. Hey,
Yeah.
but here's my take on Evo though, bro. I feel like Evo is always gonna gives off this, or at least it did. Because I don't, of course, it's under new management, like Phil said. Now, man, big shout out to Rick. But I feel like Evo is always going to do what was best for Evo. And if that meant that they had to paint a narrative, a type of way to keep the grassroots community like this, because that's where fighting games comes from. Even though I know Evo is moving more towards corporate, they still like to pull at the heartstrings of the nostalgia that is the grassroots environments. But like we've seen it most notably with like 2016 or 17 Pokken tournament had to basically fight against Marvel versus Capcom for that final spot, or not even the final spot, community spot. And this is Pokemon throwing money at this. This ain't just like some community nothing. Like this is Pokemon. When they got rid of Melee, look, I was at CEO in 2017, right before he moved to Daytona, and Bailey gave like a really heartfelt speech on the importance of Melee at tournaments like CEO and Evo, but most notably, obviously CEO because we were there. But he was like, yo, some of my first couple events, my numbers were the way they are today because the Melee community helped me build it. People wouldn't even show up if I didn't have a couple thousand people here. So, the grassroots community definitely plays a big role in this, but the fact remains the same, that companies like Evo are just going to do what's best for Evo. And if they feel like, damn, we got to get rid of Nintendo, I think that's saying a lot. Because from what I was told by a little birdie that's no longer with us in the community. But he was just like, yo, Nintendo and Evo, they work out you already know what I'm talking about, Phil. But and sometimes this source can be a little like less than reputable. But I think he was right. He was like, look, they work out a financial thing every year. Nintendo pays Evo. This is one of the few events that they actually pay to work with. And then for them to just give them the axe, I mean, I agree with you, Brandon. There's no universe where I ever felt like Nintendo and Sony were going to play nice. I mean, even looking at the history of how those two companies formed, Nintendo and Sony have just never gotten along. But I was just like, damn, Smash? But hey, this gives us the golden opportunity to build up Genesis even bigger. Because there's always been that, which one's bigger, which one's more prestigious to win? Is it Genesis? Is it Evo? Well, shit, now it's Genesis.
Yeah, I mean, and just I think too, you got to play by Nintendo's rules if you do a Nintendo tournament. So, if you got other games that aren't Nintendo, they gonna get you up out of here, bro. At least that's kind of that's my initial thought. Because
Well, we gonna,
Well,
when has that ever been a
good
thing?
point. That's a
well, we
good
gonna,
point as well. I was going to mention sorry, but just when you say that if there's other games or whatever, but like yeah, Nintendo wants to make money. There's no reason for them to sell Smash right now, right? Like there's no fighter pass, there's no game coming out, there's no, the people who have bought Smash have bought it. I mean, they might get a few more sales or whatever, but I don't see any incentive for Nintendo to have their game at Evo if they're trying to, get more people to buy it.
Yeah, and then also too, Nintendo, from what we've all read, I mean, we've seen the tweet. There's some sort of circuit in the works, so maybe they just want to shift more focus towards their own thing, building
Yeah.
their own thing off the ground, and maybe they don't want to go down the same route as Street Fighter because this we see the same discussion in Street Fighter where which one's more prestigious to win, Capcom Pro Tour or Evo. Maybe
Yeah.
Nintendo is just like we just want to keep it in our own backyard. We'll tell you what's prestigious. We'll put some Mario coins on the line. We'll be good to go.
they also just might not want their name attached to like, the tarnished legacy of Mr.
Mhm.
Wizard. You know,
Well, it's
and
like
I
a
get
double
that.
thing, right? Like they don't want to be
Huh?
attached to that. They don't want to be attached to that tarnished image, and they also don't want to be
Yeah,
attached to something with Sony, right? So it's kind of like
yeah.
it's kind of like a twofer, right? Like
I
just
truly believe it could change down the line. Like you never quite know, right? But I do feel like a lot of these decisions are spearheaded by the big wigs over there in Japan, and they're pretty like dedicated to like very protective of their IP. So linking up with anything with Sony, just that's probably not the look they're going for. But it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, because it's under new management, I do wish the best for Evo. But as far as like from a Smash perspective, it's just far from the end of the world.
no.
It's gonna be
Yeah, I
okay.
think that Panda Global partnership is gonna, bring something big as well for Smash, as well as
We'll
Smash
see. I
World
need some
Tour,
news
and
on that. I'm done
yeah.
campaigning for that till I get some updates.
Awesome.
Y'all gonna
Watch
have to
this
give me some
awesome.
results. That's it. I ain't taking you out to 5 days. We ain't got nowhere.
Show
Come
me
on,
the
I need some
money.
results, team. Talking to somebody right now.
Come on now.
Well, we've talked enough about Evo. Let's talk about you a little bit, Mr. Waffles. Brandon, we all know who you are here, but in case there are people watching who don't know, tell us how you got started in commentary and just professional Smash Brothers in general.
Um, shit. So my boy I grew up with, his tag was Park. He was a Yoshi player. We grew up across the street from each other. Known him since I was a little kid. And he always had Melee, and he would play it. And at first, I didn't really pay it no mind. I was kind of just like doing my own thing, living life, right? I'd play with him and stuff, just pass the time. Didn't really think much of it. And then he started finding competitive videos and stuff. Mind you, this is like 2006. This is around like I like found YouTube around this time because of this too. Like that's how long ago this was. But he would like watch competitive videos, and then I'd be like, oh damn, it's crazy. Like all these like matchups we saw, like Ken and Bomb Soldier and all that back in the day. And then he was like, yeah, I'm trying to compete. And I was like, yeah, I got you, bro. I'm down to like practice. I like playing the game. It's something to do, especially in the summers, because I was living in Modesto, and it's just like super, super hot there. So it's just like, all right, I might as well just play Melee or whatever, right? So I'm doing that, and then I pretty much I got good at it. Like I was just like to a point where I was like beating my friends like unintentionally for real. Like I wasn't trying to be the best or nothing. So I was like, yeah, maybe I could play this game more, right? And then we start going to tournaments, and we went to this one tournament, and they kind of just like blew my mind how like people were coming all over to compete. And at the time, like, you see like the King, who was like the first like the puff that influenced Mango for real.
Mm, yep.
Yes, sir.
What's we call it? Isaiah was there, and it was just like kind of crazy to me, like just like these like everybody's here for like a tournament, like this wait, like what? They came from all over, like that just blew my mind. And so I was just like, man, let me go back because it was in my city. So I was like, all right, I'll go over there and I start playing more. And then I went to a school for a little bit. And then as I was going to school, where I went to school at was like right next to Field, not EE Field, Do You feels me on Twitter. Like we live
Sir.
really close. And then the rest was like, and then at this time, Brawl had came out. Brawl had just came out.
Yep.
So like nobody was on Melee at this point. Everybody was off it. Like, why are y'all playing this game? We used to get that a lot. And then so we just kind of just went to the ground running. And then from there, like Cali at least, we had like this small group of people who played still. So it was like us, and that's how we got cool with like Mango and all them and like Zoo and stuff. Like, cause it was just like 30 of us, like Lovage, Lucky, everybody, who else? Dewan, all these people. We just like, well, we're just gonna stick to this game and keep playing it, and eventually it just like spawned to what it was, man. It was kind of wild. And then the commentary happened because like, you know, I was always recording videos and I'd upload videos because, you know, I would always see a lot of good sets like that. Like I was talking to you about, like say I see Silent Spectre I remember I watched Silent Spectre versus Falcomus and it was a crazy set and like nobody saw it. And I was like, damn, man, we need somebody to record this. So I would record it and then upload it to YouTube. And then shouts to Scar and Cactar. They had a tournament where they commentated forgot what tournament. It was like some tournament with Dark Rain. And I was like, yo, we should try this, like just fucking around. And then I wanted people to commentate. I wanted to be the dude like behind the, like, you know, on some Gimmer type of shit or on some like, you know, Summit type shit where I'm just like behind the camera doing the transitions. Like that was my thing. But nobody would want to commentate. I was like, fuck. So at first Phil and Daryl did it just like on some homie shit. Like, yo, I got you, bro.
Oh, Daryl, the Samus player?
Yeah.
Dude.
So they did it the first tournament, and this tournament, like hella crazy things happened. Like shouts to Mitchell Tang. He did like a 4-stock comeback. Silent Spectre did this crazy like wall jump recovery on Fountain that nobody's seen at the time. It was just a lot of crazy stuff that tournament. So it got people watching, and we got a video with 1,000 views. And at that time, like 1,000 views was just like, what? It was crazy. And then so I was like, all right, I need to find people to commentate. But Daryl and Phil couldn't do it all the time. So I was like, well, you know what? Fuck it. Since like I don't know who else can do it. So I would do it. And then Phil did it with me just on some homie shit. And then like people just started watching it. And then they gravitated towards what it was, I guess. I mean, we got a lot of shit at first because we would talk a lot of shit. Like people act like it was all roses. People fucking didn't like it until, you know, shit got more professional. And then everybody was like, oh, we need the East, you know, that shit back, blah, blah, blah. But that's pretty much how I started commentating. It was more so because like nobody was willing to do it. Not because I was like trying to commentate.
Nah, I mean, dude, you're the fucking man now. And I gotta bring this up because look, I've watched other esports and they have coined one of your terms, you know, multiple times, you know, yo, man. And I've seen it in every game, every accent, you know what I'm saying? Like he's getting hit with the wombo combo with the happy feet. And I'm just like, man, do y'all know where the fuck that came from? So I gotta ask you, yo, like, what transpired? What built up to that? Because I think a lot of people have heard the term before, they've heard it used, they've heard the get your ass whooped, but I don't think where it came from and the story behind it. And also, Krabs, I linked the video in the chat too if you want to throw that on stream.
All right.
For sure. So Wombo Combo initially, shouts to Tang and Silent Spectre. They were like outside of Isaiah because Isaiah was the big dog in NorCal. Just if you are old school in NorCal, Isaiah would do shit like he would show up. For example, he'd show up and say, he'd be like, yo, you want a team? Win teams, leave. That was Isaiah every time. But outside of that, Silent Spectre and Tang, Jeff and Mitchell were like our best team. So they were always really good. And then they would have classics with like Mango and Lucky. That was a thing. Like, you know, so I mean, at this time, Mango's like ascending to being like the best player, but he's still like losing to Silent Spectre and Tang. You know, like it was back and forth. I wouldn't say he's losing, but it was like a back and forth, right? Mm-hmm. And so Silent Spectre and Tang would come up with these crazy ass combos, like especially Tang. Mitchell would always come up with these ideas, and then he would always name them. And like one combo name was A Whole New World. They did it on SFAN one time. It was some crazy shit. Yeah, it was some crazy ass combo. And then this one was a Wombo combo. So if you don't know, there's I'm sure, bro. I wonder. Roundtable has to know about this fucking video, but there's a pizza in Roundtable called the Wombo Combo, right? It's actually fire. It's pretty much like a meat lovers pizza, right?
Okay.
And they named the combo after that. I forgot why, but
Oh,
prior, I'd say like a week or two before, we were all in NorCal chilling, and they did the combo on Phil, but they didn't. If you watch the video, you know Mitchell does the shine up smash.
Yep.
That wasn't in. He just did a normal up smash. So then, you know, like as they did it, Mitchell's like, bro, I've been trying to get this shit tournament. I can't get it in the tournament. Sometimes we get it in person, but we don't get in a tournament. And so he was saying that. So we had talked about this for like a week or so prior. So then the day of the Wombo combo happens. So you know, Zoo had a combo called Happy Feet. Shouts to Zoo. It was just it's just him comboing people Falco all over the place. So when you hear me saying Happy Feet, and then I'm like Wombo combo, because I'm like, is this where they're gonna do it? Right? Because like we talked about this, like, you know, so it was like, are they gonna do this shit? And then when they did, that's why we lost our minds, because they fucking did it, like, because we thought they would never be able to like pull it off in bracket at least. And then when I say get your ass whooped, that was just always, that's how we used to talk back then. We'd be like, oh, you got your ass whooped, you just getting bodied, you know, like that was our way of talking shit. I had to say it, bro. I'm sorry, Zoo, but you know, it goes with the video. But yeah, pretty much that's why it was so hype, because I mean it was just a fucking crazy combo. But I think if it were on the fly, it would have been crazy. But the fact that we knew what they were trying to do before they even did it is what crazy. And they added shit to the combo while doing it that day.
Now, was
on
the
a big
knee,
stage and shit.
Was the knee at the end always a part of the combo?
Yeah, the knee was, but like the initial, I think part of the pummel and like the shine up smash was not part of it. It was not supposed to be part of it. Like some of how they started the combo wasn't, and I know the shine up smash wasn't a thing, and he just did that, and we were like, what? So we were losing it. But yeah, that's like the origin story basically. The combo happened in SoCal in San Bernardino.
Are you the reason it got recorded?
Yeah, I recorded it. Yeah. And what's funny is and I get this to the shouts to Lumpy, my boy. He lives in Texas now, but you know, we always came up together playing, and I show him the combo. At this point, you know, mind you, we don't have Twitch, right? So this is just like a fucking myth. Like no one knows that the combo happened except for the people in the building. So people are like, why is everyone talking about this combo on Smashboards? Like people don't know what happened. So I got the video. I'm showing Lumpy. I'm like, yo, bro, I'm just gonna put this match out in its entirety. He's like, bro. And he shouts to him, because he kind of knew marketed before there were like, he low-key did some TikTok shit 15 years ago. But anyway, he's like, bro, you gotta put a clip, you gotta put the video out of just the clip. I'm like, nah, man, like I don't wanna, you know, because it's just like weird. Like, you know, at the time, no one did shit like that, right? He's like, nah, bro, you gotta put just the clip out. I'm telling you, hella, fuck the match. No one cares about the match. People want to see the clip. I'm like, nah. He's like, let me do it then. I was like, I got you, bro. And then that's why when you look at where the owner of the channel, where it says Lumpy CPU, like that's him.
Yeah.
So and you know,
you never got paid off of that clip?
No. So okay, here's the thing.
Bro, that's an NFT.
First off,
that's an NFT, bro.
Hear me out. So first off, I thought, you know, like the rights are my video, but one, that's a good friend of mine, right? Right. And if it wasn't for him, it wouldn't have been on that. Like it wouldn't have been the clip it was. He was the one that was like, hey man, upload just the clip. Fuck the video. And then also he told me like what he was getting off that. He was like, bro, honestly, I'm not, because he doesn't really be on YouTube. He's like, yo, I just like pay my phone bill with it and shit like that. I don't know. Just knowing what he goes through. He got a daughter now. Shouts to Kenny. But I just felt like it's fine. And as far as that aspect, as long as like he titles like the shit like it came from my shit, I didn't really care. Especially at that time, because we were just so young. We didn't really know like shit like that. But he's not like making like colossal money off that video.
Because,
I promise
bro, I be hearing this term, man. I've seen a clip. Somebody linked the clip some damn where a few months ago. Some like, I mean, bro, these are like some stiff esports casters. You know what I'm saying? They got the suit on at the fancy ass esports table, and it's just like, yo, he hit them with the hoppy feet wombo combo, and I'm just like, man,
Yeah.
you don't even know, boy. Like, you just don't even know.
Yeah.
But
I've had people tell me that it comes from League, and that's just
oh my
fun.
They use it
god,
in League
I
quite a
let them
bit.
have it. I let them have it.
Nah, that's
culture
I'm like,
vultures.
disrespectful, bro. What?
it's
Hell no.
crazy. It's crazy, bro. They'd be like, yeah, you
So-
know it came from League, right? I'm like, oh, really?
Oh, did it? Nah,
Oh,
Sure.
really?
I mean,
On that note, I mean that video, that clip, and it was visionary of your friend to just have you upload the clip. Really, you're right. That was definitely like super visionary of him. But how does it feel to be part of a video that legendary in the fighting game community? I mean, I would rank Happy Feet Wombo Combo right up there with the Justin Wong Daigo Perry video. You know what I mean? As far as like just monumental moments that are cemented in fighting game history. And like you are, of course, a centerpiece of that. Yeah, how does that feel?
first it feels weird. I didn't like it initially because I'm like, man, this is like I hope people just don't think like all I do is that. But then at the same time, it's like it's dope because I think where I like about it is that I did it with all the people that I fuck with, my friends. You know,
Yeah.
these people at this point I pretty much grew up with them, so it's like cool to know that, you know, just us being, you know, 17, 18-year-old kids at the time, just playing a game. I don't think we realized the magnitude of what was to come from that. And I feel like that clip like embodies that, you know, from me commentating, from Phil commentating, when I see Mango with these big sponsors, it's like none of us like there was no way to expect all this shit to come from that. And back then we were all just broke ass teenagers, really. So it was just cool to see like something from us just being almost like just naive to the situation, from it taking us in places in our lives that, you know, just help develop what we do now, and we're still be able to do the shit that we did then, which like that's what I like about the clip.
yeah.
Personally.
I mean, dude, you have done a lot of great things. I mean, I'm pretty sure you did the event at South by Southwest. You know, the Five Gods event, and I've always been envious of anybody who ever got to do anything at South by Southwest. But it made sense.
I was not in that event.
Wait, were you not? Or did you guys
Mixing
in
up
Gatekeepers?
D1 and TK.
No,
was
I
not
know
at South
D1
by
and TK did it because TK got upset because Melee and all that shit, you know what I'm saying? But you didn't do that? Or was it you did a Yahoo Twitch Rivals? You did one of the two, I thought.
I did do the Yahoo one. Yeah,
That's what
I
it
did
was.
the Yahoo
Yeah.
one. Yeah.
Yeah, I was
That was
very
that
envious. I was just like, hey, yo, man, like this is the closest to like almost TV we got in Smash. Now,
Right.
really quick here on the subject of like tournaments. You know, we've been in a pandemic, or we're still in it. I mean, I don't really know what the hell's going on these days. You know, the world's ending basically. But anyway, you know, I think of like the Mount Rushmore Smash, you know, in different eras, you know, the overall Mount Rushmore, offline, online, whatever. When I think of obviously the things you've done offline, you're definitely up there. But the online shit, I feel like it's something people kind of sleep on about you. Rollback Rumble, bro. Like, bro, you just been hosting consistent ass mini regionals online. Like, where did this come from?
It's kind of just like the same thing when I started recording, right? Like I felt like there was a need for it, and so I did it, and that was pretty much it. And then it just spawned this whole ass thing, especially when the pandemic first started. I mean, we didn't have rollback. Shouts to Fizzy for that, but
Yes, sir.
they had delay, and I was just thinking like, all right, maybe I could just like, because I didn't like, obviously none of us knew how long the pandemic would last.
Right.
So it, like my initial thought was like, okay, you know, we'll probably be down bad for I thought like everybody else, we'll be down bad for like a couple of months, maybe 3-4 months. In the meantime, I could just, you know, host some shit until it blows over. And that never happened. So so we just kept like hosting events, and then, you know, online, and then eventually it was like, because I was doing a bunch of different regions, like Northeast, Southeast, West Coast, Texas, Midwest, you know, and then when Rollback came out, it made it easier, so I could just do East and West. But yeah, we just were like, all right. In my head, I was like, I'm gonna just keep doing these until bigger events pop up. But as far as right now, this would be a good segue for people to just they want to like practice and develop their game. What we could just have a metric to see like where everyone's at least until like a Genesis or something bigger gets announced. But it's always I always treated it like a playing field for everyone to just like for people who don't want to take breaks and just want to grind. Like here you go.
Yeah, and I feel like I event as definitely the byproduct, the brainchild of something that you would do. Because like every time I see you at an event, I'm gonna be real. I know you commentate. I don't know if I've ever actually physically seen you commentate. I've always seen you in the friendlies area just whooping ass. I'm just like, yo, like I know this dude is here for one thing, but if you ask me where do I find homemade waffles, I'm gonna tell you gonna find them in the friendlies area playing games.
Yeah, or in the crowd chilling or something. I'm like never like backstage or anything. I'm like
never. This guy,
I
I'll be bougie.
never
I'll be bougie sometimes. I'll be chilling backstage.
Hey, no, I'm not. I ain't gonna lie. I do sometimes be going to like when I get the VIPs. I do be going there for the waters and the Gatorades. I'm not gonna hold you. I'll go in there for that. Say hi for like 10 minutes and then I'm back in the rotations, bro. Like that's kind of how I always, or I'm in the crowd or something. But I usually just be in the cut, chilling. I don't really. I've always been that way. I guess I think it helped me in the sense of just like I know since I'm just around those type of people more. I know like what type of like with rollback rumbles. Like I know these type of people will want these. You know what I mean? Like the smaller events. But yeah, I'm always just in the cut, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, man. I
See
feel
me
you.
in the corner chilling, bro.
Right. I feel that. Yo, so really quick, I mean, you've been in the community a lot longer than, and like the way I describe even EE, because when I used to teach, I had a lot of kids who were into Smash and they would watch you guys, we're playing games. They would quote you sometimes. They would quote Phil more times than I would have liked them to. But they would quote you guys while they're playing. And I got to know, man, I mean, you've been in the community so long. What do you think is like one of your crowning achievements? I mean, you have, I've seen your influence in a lot of different ways, down to the commentary style, the tournament running style. But what is your biggest achievement personally?
Shit, man.
I know it's a tough question because I know you're still kind of writing it out, but what's up?
I mean, I guess for me, just what like the type of shit recently with the whole Bimmy. I mean, we get into that later, but that and then just putting on like little events in the Bay, I would say that. I think that the TOing aspect is probably where I get the most like, yeah, man, like I feel like I'm doing the right thing. My situation's weird because I kind of just done a lot of everything.
You have.
But I mean, just I guess overall, that's a good question. My best achievement, I don't know. I guess it would be, I think it'd be like TO and like the smaller events, just because I like seeing like, you like I like people will come to our we used to host these tournaments called Melee at the Made. Shouts to the Made in Oakland, and I would just watch players develop. You know what I mean? And I think like being able to be a part of that is kind of cool. Like a good example is like watching like Spark just come to every tournament when he was good, he was okay, but you see now he's just like one of the best Melee players, or just like even back in the days, like chilling with Mango, recording with them, and all that stuff. You like, yeah, this kid is good. He's like the best out of all of us, right? And you watch him just be like one of the world's best players, like shit like that is just crazy. And like, so being a part of that is like pretty cool. I'd say so. Like that, and like
definitely
just being a part of the scene when it was just like like just getting shit for playing Melee,
right?
Like constantly, and then now knowing it's like where it is. I think that's like those things. Like seeing things just like start from nothing and go from somewhere, and like being able to witness it, I think is my crowning achievement if there was one. Just being around and seeing everything develop it while being part of it.
Right.
I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I feel like you're being a little modest right now. You know, I
I
think
guess so. I can't really
it's
think
just
of something like. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
I guess another thing I guess I would say is I feel like I'm one of the only people in this sphere as far as
Mhm.
Smash period, like that has TO'd at a high level, commentated at a high level, and have played at a high level. Like, and
Yeah,
that
that's
feels pretty
facts.
good.
Yeah.
You know, like
It's a
just
triple
knowing
crown.
like yo, I've hosted big tournaments, I've commentated big tournaments, I've beaten top players. Like that, I feel like not a lot of people can say that. Usually they're like really good at like a couple things or one thing, and knowing that I can like go to every sphere in this and just in this community, I guess, and to be able to do that is like pretty cool too. I guess that's probably a better answer if it's more personal. Just knowing like, damn, I definitely like commentated just as top 8. And what's another thing? TO like a big ass online tournament. Beats like Dewan before, Plut before, shit like that. Like that's crazy, you know. Like I
There
can't really
is.
think of anybody else who's done that shit.
That's the one to go to because I don't think there is anyone else who has done that. If I'm speaking quite frankly, like
Yeah.
Right.
legit. Like I'm not talking about I beat my PR player in Nebraska. No, national level threats have been
Hold
slain
on,
by
hold
this
on, hold on,
man.
hold on, hold on, hold on,
I'm
hold on.
sorry, Rod. I know you live in Nebraska, but ain't
You're
nobody beat
gonna
him.
stop this black on black violence. Stop it, bro.
Sorry, South Dakota, whatever you want to use. But yeah,
Thank
I
you.
agree with that, Wolf. That's the kind of like impact that's not easy to make. But I mean, goddamn, as many years as you put in the game, man, I'm glad you've been getting back what you
Yeah.
deserve. I was one of the people who's like, oh, a Waffle on Beast Coast, yeah, run that shit, run that
I
shit.
mean, yeah, it's crazy because for a while I was like, I didn't think getting sponsored was like a thing. Like I was like, yeah, I probably won't, and then they hit me up, and I mean, we both on Beast Coast, and it's
There
been a
it is.
dope experience. So I'm blessed that I feel like, especially now, especially post pandemic, I feel like I get a lot of like I get my flowers a lot, and that's pretty cool. It's cool to hear like because sometimes I've been in a situation like, man, why the fuck am I doing this shit? Like, like it's like yo, I could just be,
Same.
but then people will tell me like, yo, I would have quit if there wasn't no tournaments or. Like for example, I watched this one kid. His name is Pillar Monkey. Shout outs to Jacob. He lives in Oakland. He used to come to these locals, the maids every every week for like 2 years, and dude would go 0-2, and then he like won a set, and I popped off for him because I was just like, yo, like so seeing stuff like that, to also being like, oh, okay, I'm like commentating in this crazy ass like
Mhm.
stadium, whatever, the Paramount Theater, which is crazy because like
Yeah.
it's like yo, Chris Rock performed here, like
Yeah.
hella people, especially like being living in Oakland, like it's just like damn, like this is crazy. I'm commentating in the fucking Paramount Theater, like and shit like that is kind of wild to me. So I'm truly blessed about like the love I get and all that shit, man.
Yeah.
So
I mean, you definitely
y'all
deserve
give
your
me,
flowers.
I appreciate it. I try to do my best, and I'm just glad that like you know, just doing what I did, and not only doing what I did, but like treating people the right way in the process. I feel like in turn, like just kind of like what you give comes out. So
Mhm.
I'm truly like blessed. So
Yeah, no doubt.
life is
Definitely
good
some wise words.
for sure.
Well, while we're talking about achievements that you've attained in the Smash community, we wanted to touch real quick on an event that you've actually hosted, or that you host, and that's the Black Empowerment Melee Invitational.
Mhm.
And yeah, we talked about that a couple weeks ago actually, and I thought it was an incredible idea. I hadn't heard of it before, and I think it's a really awesome way for people to not only watch great Smash, but learn about Black history. I thought that the interview segments that you like splice in between the sets and everything was a really great idea. Yeah, can you talk a bit about the idea behind the empowerment invitational that you do?
Yeah. So shouts to Do You Feels to Be Feel. I feel like I always have to preface that when I'm in the call with EE. But he was like, man, it'd be cool if we had like a tournament like that. And I was like, you're right. So like let's just I'm gonna start doing that shit,
Yeah.
right? And
Mhm.
I thought it'd be cool for Black History Month, especially because of like at this time it was like early 2021, late 2020. probably like 2020, especially what happened in 2020. It was like fucking crazy. So
Mm-hmm.
I felt like, all right, yeah, this would be a good segue for like, you know, that, especially because at this point, you know, early 2021, late 2020, that like a lot of the like black issues in America kind of like it like just say subsided as far as publicly. And I remember prior in like May or June or whatever doing like a tournament fundraiser thing, like a net play. I was just one of the streams for it for like the George Floyd situation. And then after I was thinking, I was like, bro, like I really get tired of like having shit like this for when somebody get killed, right? I wanted to have a tournament for like and it not be based off of tragedy,
Yeah.
you know, and just like I
Facts.
feel like we should be able to celebrate that shit while we're all here. I feel like it shouldn't take, you know, a black person to die for us to all get together and like make some dope shit happen. So
100%.
you know, I guess that's the real premise of like what spawned it. And then you know we just got a lot of dope people in the community that help leverage this shit from, you know, and they're black. Obviously, you know, he Rod, like some of the most influential people that have ever stepped foot in this community are black.
Yeah.
Right. And also there are really good people who are good commentators, good TOs, good players, and are black, and people don't really know about them. And I also feel like a lot of the black people in the community aren't as vocal. At least that's what it seems to me. So I kind of just wanted to put all that on display. I also wanted to show that blackness is like a spectrum, right?
Mhm.
We're not all the same. Like Rod, you live in Nebraska. You're from like Maryland, right? Like I'm from
Yep.
Cali. Like so, you know, we're all black though. That's the common thing. But you know, you have light skin, dark skin, gay, straight, trans. Not every black person is American. A lot of people don't even think about shit like that. And basically, how we all live in this bubble of just Earth in this space, and we're all, you know, the common theme is we're all black, but we're also different. But because of us being different, that helps, like, to me, even more to bring our blackness together. And I just wanted to emphasize that for like just the grander scheme of people, and to just show that, you know, being black has its upsides, is great, it's liberating in a lot of ways, and it's its downsides. It's some truths, like
Yeah.
some hard truths that motherfuckers just don't like dealing with.
That's
And
true.
you know, I'm trying to put that on display too. Like there's some good things, you know, we got you know, vibrant people, we always showing love, you know, cookouts, the whole nine. There's but then, you know, it's the police issue, systemic racism, like shit's fucking how slavery affects us today. This is shit that people don't like hearing. And it's like I don't want to pretend that shit doesn't exist for us to
Right.
feel like, you know, we can all exist in this space. It happened. We gotta show it happen and show our differences of why, you know, that's what makes us who we are. So I just wanted to display that for the weekend. I'm sorry if that was like a long ass answer.
No,
Nah,
not at
man.
all.
I feel like it was detailed.
Yeah.
It was on point. That's what I
Yeah. But yeah, that's what inspired me to do it, because, you know, and like I said, I just didn't want it to come from a tragedy. And I what I didn't want either is like, you know, a tragedy from a black person, the greater community, especially like, you know, just anyone not black feeling bad and then making this tournament for us. But when it's like, we need to make this shit for, you know, like black people need to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
We
yeah.
got to spearhead this. And that's no knock to other people. Like their intentions are great, but I just feel like, you know, we should be the, you know, it's kind of like you said, Rod, like a for us bias type of thing, you know, that FUBU shit. But,
Yeah,
yeah, like that's kind of, you know, that's what, you know, I just felt like it had to be done. I don't know. And I felt like the sooner the better,
Mhm.
you know?
Yeah, we are definitely long overdue for formats like that. And I think with how influential the FGC is, you know, a lot of it a lot of the coolness that is the FGC, you know, whether it be the voices or the types of tournaments ran, or you know, some of the crazy moments in bracket, a lot of those were laid down by, you know, people of color. Like I think of, you know, when I think of fighting games, I think of like Yipes and Tasty Steve. I think of like,
Mm.
you know, the Evo moment. You know, here we are over in Melee. We're speaking to you. You know, the Happy Feet Wombo combo. I mean, everything. You know, Mango. You know, and Hungry Box have done as well too. You know, it's what makes us different. Is what kind of brings us all together in this community. But it's definitely the people who are, you know, a little different, a little bit more marginalized in the grander scheme of things in the world that have really made these grassroots communities what they are today.
Mm. For sure.
Yeah.
There it
I,
is.
yeah. I hope, you know, people enjoyed the event. Shouts to Rod for commentating. I know you were busy, but you know, you blessed the mic last year and that was
Yeah, I
dope.
was on there last year. I wasn't home this year, but yeah.
No, I mean, I
Sure.
appreciate you guys taking your time because, like, it's all. I forgot to point this out. It's all for charity and businesses too. Like, we don't, like, I don't make shit off that. So, you know, we just, I'm just hope every black person that is around watches because for me, that's who it's for. And you know, should any black player want to participate in the future, man, by all means, just hit me up.
There it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, hey man, we
Appreciate you,
appreciate
bro.
having you on, man. I mean, bro,
It was
I
good.
was like, we got to get some
Yeah.
people on here, and I was like, you know what? I know homemade waffles. I got a lot of pictures with the dude stuff. I don't really know the dude personally, so I'm like, I don't want to only just know somebody through their achievements. Like, let's, you know, what I'm saying, open them up
Mhm.
and see those inner workings. You know what I'm saying?
For sure. I'm glad y'all have me, man. I really appreciate it. I always respect what y'all do. I see you guys commentate, doing all kind of shit at the highest level. Be on the stage, you know, making everybody feel good, dripped out. Both of y'all, you know, I really,
You
you know what
know,
I'm
you
saying.
know.
You know, gotta respect how y'all get down, and I'm always just like I said, man. I love seeing y'all prosper. You know I don't really play ultimate like that, but you know that don't mean that I don't respect what y'all do in the community as a whole. Like I think you know I'll be watching the games. I'll be watching MK Leo. Just I bet on him every time. So
Yeah,
That's a
you
good bet.
you
That's
a
Yeah,
a good
for
smart
bet.
real.
man.
I'm like, oh Leo and losers bracket round one. Okay, that means I know he gonna win. Bet.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, but yeah, I'll be watching, man. I'll be you know trying to support. Void's one of my favorite players. MK Leo, Void, and Riddles are my favorite like
Oh,
ultimate
Riddle's
players.
in there. Okay, good,
Yeah,
nice.
Riddles
Riddle's
is
a queen.
crazy. Bro. Riddles be
Yeah.
like, okay, I'm playing Terry right now, bro. Like, or Kazuya, whatever Tekken character, whatever. You know, I'll be watching that. So shouts to all the ultimate players, man, and y'all too. Like y'all be having me rolling, bro.
You already know, bro.
Yeah,
Smash Summit this week. It's gonna be good.
yeah. Let's
Appreciate you.
go.
You
Yeah,
know, we try, you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
But no, big shout out to you, man, and thank you for coming on, bro. Next time we do another one of these, we want to have more guests on consistently. And as long as you keep going ham in the community, man, we love to keep having you back.
Yeah, for sure, man. I ain't doing shit. So if y'all want me around, just hit me up, man. I'll come through. And Brian, also, it was nice to meet you. You know what I'm saying? I don't, you know.
Yeah, no, thank you, Brandon. Absolutely. I just can only reiterate what's already been said. Thank you so much for being on the show. It's been an honor to have you. Like, really. I I've watched the combo video. I don't know, hundreds of times in my life. Obviously, I've seen your commentating, you know, over and over at different events, and you've always been one of my favorite commentators, and will continue to be. And yes, we would love to have you on the show in the future. Yeah, thank you again for being here.
For sure, for sure. One day, I always told myself one day I've never done this, and I'll tell y'all, Rod, while I'm here. I've never commentated uh an ultimate set ever.
Really?
Really,
Yeah.
we gotta change that. Hold on.
We gotta
I was
hold on
like,
now.
I don't know shit about the game though, so it would just be blasphemous.
That's
But
when
I
I
was like,
commentate melee. It's
yeah,
fun.
Oh
you know
god.
more about melee than I know about ultimate for
Well,
free. But I was like, man, I never commentated ultimate before, like ever, or like Smash Four, none of that. I never
Yeah.
even. So I was like, man, maybe I would do like one block. I don't want a good block, you know. I want that block of pools where like it's just like, you know, MK Leo like versus some random like that. That's the block I want. But you know, one day I told myself one day I might do it and enter. I never entered an ultimate tournament either, which I should probably do.
Yeah.
glad you put that out there. That's good to know.
Yeah,
Yes,
one
sir.
day.
All
But
righty,
yo,
mister.
Yeah, I appreciate y'all having me. I truly do.
All right, brother. Appreciate you. Have a good one. Thank you for
Pleasure.
coming on the show again. It's much
I
appreciated.
Keep it
so
black, brother.
do I just sign off here, or is that it? Or like, I don't know
Yeah,
how do I.
you can go ahead and take care, and we'll talk to you later. We're gonna have another guest on the show in a little bit, and yeah, thank you again, Brandon.
All right, man. Y'all take it easy.
Yes,
All
sir.
right, peace.
Well, again, that was
Wonderful interview.
yes, homemade waffles. Brandon himself on the show. That was really just a great interview. Yeah, absolutely wonderful. One of the goats of Smash commentary, and that's you're only going to see interviews like that right here on Shacknews.com. So make sure, or Shack News Twitch rather. And so make sure you're followed here on Shack News Twitch. Make sure you hit the button for following, the little heart. Make sure you hit the bell for notifications. That way you'll know whenever we go live. Make sure you even subscribe to us. Kick us a little bit of support. We love to see that. If you have an Amazon Prime account, you can combine that with your Twitch account for that Prime Gaming and get a free sub each month. We love those. We take those.
Yes,
If you
sir.
can't watch, if you can't watch all the stuff live though, you can always head over to YouTube where we have two channels, Shack News Games and Gamer Hub videos with thousands of hours of exclusive content. We're also exporting our Twitch VODs over there as well, so you can catch anything you miss over here right over there on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to both of those channels. And then, of course, if you like all that stuff, you can talk about it on your favorite social media platform like Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. We're all over those at Shack News on Twitter and Facebook. Shack News Media on Instagram. You can go give Denny Von Doom in chat. He's right there. You can give him a shout out over on
DVD.
Twitter. That's right. Send him a message, give him a follow, a quote tweet, all that good stuff. But of course, you can always check out our own social media platform with Shack Pets. That's our free app, recently launched. It's absolutely free on the iOS App Store and the Google Play Store, where you can upload pictures of your pets, join the ultimate battle for cuteness. You can swipe through all of the challenges, decide whose pet is the cutest, or like I was saying, challenge other people with your own pet picks. It's a lot of fun. We got Shack Pets champions in chat right now with Weekend Geek and Army of Techno, Denny Von Doom. All these guys are on there. They're all getting huge Shack points for playing on Shack Pets. So make sure you did, or make sure you download it. Make sure you check it out. And of course, go to shacknews.com. That's why we're here. That's the reason everything is happening that you're seeing right now. Over at shacknews.com, where we're bringing you the latest and greatest in gaming and technology news for over 25 years now. We also have our own subscription service there with Shack News Mercury. Super affordable. A great way to do it for Shack News and support the website with just $1 a month. I mean, there's no subscription cheaper than that. And you can also subscribe for a higher tier, get some cool Shack News swag. If you want to contribute more than $1 a month, you can get some t-shirts, hoodies, cool stuff like that with the higher tiers of subscription. But let's get into our next interview because we got a packed show, 2 interviews back to back. Our next guest is not a Smash player. We're actually going to have a Tekken player on the show. I know Rod is excited. Rod, how about you go ahead and take it away with this introduction, please?
Yo, I feel like, when you hear
This
the
is
name,
yours.
listen, when you hear the name Kodocore, it needs little to no introduction, little to no explanation. When you see that name in bracket, just know your favorite player is about to get that ass whooped. Kodocore is here, and as a Midwest native, I'm super duper excited. I was able to pitch this show to her in Central Time. Everybody else, I got to tweak time zones, but she was like, "Nah, I feel you. We got it." So, Kodocore, if you're out there, I'm sure you're in the Twitch chat somewhere listening, and maybe in the Discord. Can you jump on in here with us and come through and kick it? Pull up, grab a plate at the cookout. Where you at?
Rodney, you didn't have her waiting in standby in general?
General.
I did.
Yeah, we did. What are
I'm
you
taking
talking
care of
about,
it.
man? Stick to hot takes, man. I got something to say. Hold on, Phil. She ain't here yet.
You're
Who
supposed
is
to
this
be
thing on?
supporting each other, not tearing each other down.
Tear me down. Stick to the. No, I'm
He
playing
said
with you.
stick the hot takes. So D, Daggy.
No, I'm just kidding. Cuddlecore, you're here. What's going on?
Hi there. Going good. How are you? How's everyone?
We are just big chilling. Is it possible we can maybe get a camera from you? Oh, there you are. Holy
Yeah.
shit.
What up?
Damn, you got the whole Red Bull get up. Holy shit.
Yeah, I wear it pretty often.
Damn, that hat's nice. They sent me a fridge too, but I didn't get the hat. I'm kind of hold up now.
And the hat is they're like, for athletes, they have like gear and stuff for us, and we get to
Mhm.
pick from a lot of it. I have a lot of hats.
Oh,
A
for
lot.
athletes, I ain't shit. Got it. Cool. Well, welcome to the show, Cuddlecore. Nice to have you.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah, well, we're super excited to have you. We are all obviously on the show a fan of fighting games, some more games than others. Me personally, I'm a big Tekken fanatic, so I was like, yo, we got to get Cuddlecore on this thing. I don't know how we got to do it. I don't know who we got to talk to. I don't know who we got to beat up, but we got to have Cuddlecore come through now. You've been in this community for so long. I'm just gonna jump right into it. You've been in this community. I've seen your Tekken Tag 2 result. Obviously, you didn't just start playing with Tekken Tag, so give us like a brief rundown of your origin with just Tekken.
Well, I started playing Tekken when I was a little kid
Mhm.
because it was always in the house. My dad played fighting games a lot, had a ton of fighting games. He's one of those gamers where like if the game looks interesting on the cover, I'm gonna pick it up off the shelf. Like he's that kind of guy, casual gamer, but like really likes the fun dynamic stuff, and that's fighting games for you. So he had all like the old Tekkens, and as a kid, you're watching your parent play,
Mhm.
and you're like, "Man, this looks really cool. I'd like to get in on that. How can I how can I do that?" So I would play with him. I would play with him for hours, and it made me very competitive. Almost to the point where I would cry. So
Oh,
it
dag.
yeah, yeah. I hated losing. So my dad's like, "Well, instead of crying, and whining about it, just go to practice mode. Look through, what you can do. Look at the moves and then
Mm.
the combos and stuff." And I'm like, so I did, and it kind of taught me how to just go deeper into the game instead of making excuses and just whining about it. Even as a little kid, it was a valuable lesson. But yeah, definitely because of my dad playing fighting games early on. That's definitely the reason why I got into the game, and I just stuck with it. Because I think out of all the fighting games I played as a kid, because I played a lot of them. I
Mhm.
bought a lot of them. KOF, Street Fighter, Soul Calibur, Tekken, you
Mhm.
name it. I had it all.
Mm.
But Tekken for me, I felt I was able to express myself as a competitor, like a fighting game player. I felt like I was able to express myself the best
Mhm.
with Tekken. Having options like moving in and out of the background and having 8 options for one move that somebody does. I
Mm.
like that. I felt like I was able to express myself the way I wanted to playing Tekken. I believe.
Nice. So which Tekken was it? Was it? I mean, I think you and I are probably around the same age. Which one was your earliest one? If you remember?
I played 1. I started with 1, but
Mm.
1
Damn.
came out like 3 years or 4 years before I was born.
Yeah.
So, when I was, like, older, I played Tekken 1 because, that was one of the games in the house. Even though it was years older than me, like, I played it. He had 1, he had 2, and 3. So I played all of them.
Wow.
But I started with 1, then I played 2, then I played 3 because they were already out by the time I was born.
There you go.
So yeah, that's kind of what happened, but I definitely feel like one of my earliest memories of just falling in love with the game was with Tag 1 because
Mm.
it
That's
was
the
like
one.
September, I think it was September, or a little earlier, but my dad had bought the PlayStation 2, it just dropped here,
Mhm.
and that paycheck, was looking nice, and he got the PS2, had like a new TV with I came home and I saw all this, right? As a kid, you're like, "Oh my god, look at this big screen TV and the PS2," and you hear the sound coming from the surround sound system in the house, and so
Mhm.
you have the Tekken 1 just, character select screen, music starting up, and you're like, "Is this Tekken?" And my dad's like, "Yeah," and I'm like, Tag 1's iconic, and I still remember everything about it, so yes, Tag 1, I think, though, has a huge place in my heart.
Mm. Yeah, Tag One is definitely the one. Now, you said you've been playing Tekken since such a young age, and I know, like when we're all kids, our hobbies and interests are always changed. Like when I was a kid, I was like, "Yo, Dad, I like Pokemon cards." Then I was like, "Dad, throw the Pokemon cards. I want Yu-Gi-Oh now." But
Right.
did you just like you just knew early on, like, "Yo, all these other hobbies are cool that I have, but Tekken is the one that I'm sticking with."
I really feel like the older I got, gaming didn't go away from me. It was a consistent hobby. Uh, I was kind of a quiet kid, and I felt like the way I think looking back on it, the way I want to express myself, I was able to do it.
Mhm.
by playing games and expressing that through fighting games, through adventure games, because sometimes, socializing was kind of hard for me.
Okay.
Um, so I think those were ways to like help me with that. So I think I stuck with uh, Tekken and just fighting games, definitely because of that. It taught me a lot about myself,
Mhm.
and there were people that were like me,
Mhm.
that I was able to interact with them because the Bluetooth mic and the headsets, that was
There
a
you
thing.
go.
And you go in the lobbies and you fight each other. You made friends that way, that you would sometimes end up meeting at tournaments years later.
Mhm.
But that kind of helped me become more social too. That's probably why I stuck with it, because I think that was one of the biggest ways that I started to socialize with people, was because of playing fighting games and Tekken.
Well, so was one so like your first tournament experience, it was like more of like a positive thing than like an intimidating one? Because I know some chicks who just like they just straight up say like, yeah, it's kind of intimidating just being in there with a bunch of, a bunch of not even just like dudes, just like competitive people in general. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just that atmosphere. So it seems like you have like the opposite experience from one, best I could tell.
Yeah.
Right. So, I think that when it's women in a tournament setting where it's predominantly male,
Mhm.
that's the part that's intimidating, because women and men are competitors, so that's not the problem there. The
Right.
Mhm.
problem there is the fact that you're like the only one there that looks like you do, and
That's right.
everybody else, they all can seek comfort in the fact that they look like each other,
That's right.
and so that is intimidating. Um, but I had befriended so many players online that were in my area, like Chicago-ish area, the Chicagoland area, before
Mhm.
I even went offline, that when we all met up, we had already been talking and stuff. So us meeting offline was just, the final step. Um, when I did compete in my first tournament, I didn't really think of it as intimidating. I was just very focused.
That's right.
There were people there that supported me. Uh, it made me feel at home, but it was because I'd already done so much socializing online that when I saw these people offline, it was like a reunion of sorts.
Mm.
So it was a good experience for me.
That's good. I'm really happy to hear that too. And now, of course, I'm looking at just all the things that you've achieved because, like, I mean, I know who you are. Being a Midwest native, like, the name Cuddle Core, and I'm all the way in Nebraska. We're 8 hours apart, driving wise at least. But you know, uh, Vice magazine and Red Bull and Forbes 30 under 30. So I just got to know, sometimes when you just achieve all these great things, or like when you're doing really well, you're like, I'm just here to play for the sport. But I mean, people look up to you now. Like there are a lot of young people, a lot of young people of color, a lot of young women. I mean, did you know like this was what you're going to be destined to be? Like you just were a kid playing Tekken, but now you're like, damn, I'm Total Core whooping your favorite player's ass now.
Uh, I honestly, I had no idea. I did this because I liked it and
Mhm.
because I knew I could get better at it. That was it. I I just I didn't wake up one day and think, man, I'm about to be like a pro esports player. Like I didn't wake up and think that or become one of the best players in America or anything like that. I kind of just
Mhm.
I knew that with anything I did, I want to be good at it, and that's because my parents raised me that way.
Right.
So I carried that with me with anything I did. When I went to college, when I graduated, when I realized I wanted to be a pro player, I took that with me everywhere. Excellence is the standard, and sometimes that makes things a little difficult where you feel like you have to be the best 24/7. I don't say 100%, I say 200% now. That I give my 200%, and that can be a
Damn.
little exhausting. So I have to create that balance, but because I have that standard for myself and I carved my own lane in a space that really doesn't give you any sort of blueprint or
Mhm.
any sort of guidance whatsoever, I formed my own way, and but I worked hard. And if it's
Right.
something I cared about, I did the work. I studied my footage. I asked questions of my training partners. I played them to hundreds of games. I asked the honest questions like, what could I have done better in this matchup? Like, I did what I needed to do. And yes, that was sometimes hard because as a woman, you're putting yourself out there.
True.
And, you could, when you lose, people are going to judge you. When you win, people are going to judge you. But
True.
like, I knew at the end of the day, my peers respected me. They knew what I was doing good work and that I was an upcoming player who had all the potential in the world, just like any other man or any other person who was
Mhm.
doing, who has like, the potential to go far. But a community has to help cultivate that. So I was around really good people who helped me out, and that was really it. But um, I like that I can be that for people now. I really like that I can be that influence because I want people to understand like you don't have to follow what your favorite player is doing to get to that spot, but you can, take them as an example.
Sure.
You don't have to do what like the known faces of the FGC are doing to be successful. You can find your own lane as long as it's authentic to you.
That's right.
It Then you can do it, and I kind of have stepped into that role of that spotlight, and I've accepted it.
Mhm.
As long as I can give back to my community, in my way, in my own way, I you know I'm glad I can be that for other people because other people were that for me. So
That's right. And I when I listen to you tell this story, it almost feels like a bit of a superhero origin story. Like, you're really good, you're talented, you've been practicing, and now you kind of have you have this new persona kind of bestowed upon you. Now you're not only just playing for yourself, but whether you like it or not, you're playing in representation with so many other people. I mean,
mhm.
as a competitor, how do you keep, just a clear mind? Like, hey, I know I represent a lot of stuff, but I'm also here to compete and do a damn good job. And with so many people out there just I mean, let's just call it for what it is. There's just a lot of haters out there. We'll put it that way.
Yeah.
How do you stay so mentally strong?
There are times where it's frustrating, and it's
Sure.
like people don't know what they're talking about. Like, you're not in my shoes. You have not competed on the same level as I have. So you're in the
Mhm.
stands talking behind a keyboard. What would you know about anything? that's
Ooh, hold
that's
on
always
now.
kind of
Hold on now, Cuddle Core. Talk your shit. Talk
and
your shit.
it's like sports, like people will say what they would have done, coulda, shoulda, woulda. But like if unless you're
Mhm.
in that player's shoes or that athlete's shoes, you're literally just sitting on the on in a seat doing what you're doing, judging. So kind of understanding that like what I do is solely based on my own decisions. It's not about anybody
Right.
else or anything like that. It's just me in the game. And that's something that I've always kind of used as like a theme for when I compete. It's just me in the game because I'm also not going to put the weight on myself to represent all of that. I'm a person, I'm a human being, and I'm a
Right.
damn good player. And that's all that matters. If other people can be respected the same way and they don't have all that weight on them, why would I need that?
Mm.
I'm just like them. The only difference is that I look different. And so yeah, I always try to make sure I'm very kind to myself that I don't feel like I have to represent all of this. Because honestly, that's why I'm here, is because
Mhm.
I represent myself.
That's right.
That's it. But in turn, what happens is that I'm seen as an example of like what success looks like, not just when you're a male fighting game player who's a pro, but like a woman as well,
Right.
and that pro fighting game players can have different looks, and there's that representation in that sense. But I don't go on the
Yeah.
stage thinking that. I go on the stage thinking, okay, these are the things that I prepared for. Okay, me and the coach, we've been going through this. We looked at the pages, the archives, we've been studying, we've been prepping for weeks. That's all I care about. Is I have a coach, by the way, and that I care about doing myself proud, but of course, somewhere deep down inside, I'm like, I also want to do coach proud too because he's been training me for like a year and some change, and it's done a lot for my gameplay overall. So it's really just me representing that. I don't think about, oh man, I gotta represent all the women because also that's not fair because they represent themselves too,
That's
and
right.
that's very unfair of me to be that for all of them when all their stories are so different. Like that's not
Yo,
fair.
that's interesting that you mentioned you have a coach because like just like giving off your like your personality and energy, I would think you're the one doing the coaching. So that's it.
I do.
Like so. Oh, so you do coaching as well? Okay.
Mhm.
Damn, that's crazy. So why did you get a coach? Is it just like a gameplay thing or like a mental thing? Like what was like the purpose behind that?
Yes, so both. So both.
Okay.
So when COVID happened and the lockdown
Mm,
happened in Illinois, I still wanted to continue to grow. But at that time, there weren't really online tournaments and things like that. But I wanted to expand uh, the way I played the game and how I thought about it. So my manager, she was like, "Okay, how about we bring on Trungy, who's an old school player who is one of the most technical players in the game. His results, his accomplishments, his performances are just astounding.
Right.
Jesus.
Yeah.
I remember when I was coming up and, I would watch him play at tournaments. I'm like, Jesus. To the point. So pretty much, she thought he would be a really good fit for the team in terms of being a coach. And I was like, okay, because I told I still wanted to continue improving.
yeah.
And so they brought him on. And I started meeting with him like every week while an online league called ICFC. They had different regions for Tekken. It was like the Wednesday showdown. People were tuning in every Wednesday
Mhm.
to watch people from North America, Europe, and Asia compete in a league, and you would accumulate a certain amount of points from first to 13th, maybe or seventh.
Sure.
And so then at the end of that season, the top 8 who qualified would fight in a final. So from like seasons 1 to 3 or 4, I think, that's when I had Trungi as a coach that entire time, and I saw my game evolve completely. I won 2 finals because of training underneath him.
Yep.
Um, and my overall gameplay just skyrocketed because of it. So having that coach really helped me see the game a certain way, especially in terms of adapting. You're adapting from round to round. There's 60 seconds within a round. I now have more strategies. I am a heart kind of player. The way I play is I feel a lot, intuitive, but I also want to tap into the technical aspect of myself. So that's what Trungi does for me. And him and his wife actually serve as a really huge support system
Oh,
for me.
dang, that's
So
crazy.
yeah, I've known them for years. She's also been a really big fan of mine. S when I first started competing as a pro 3 years ago. So
Okay.
yeah.
I love that. And I guess I from not so great competitor to somebody who's at the top of their game. I mean, what is your training process like? I mean, I know you mentioned when you were a kid, you would go into training mode, look at all the combos. And in Tekken, for people who don't know that are watching, there are a lot of buttons to be pressed in Tekken in a lot of different directions. But what is your training process now? Like, do you take more time for, the mental aspect? Are you more of like, I got to make sure my precision with my combos are precise? Like, what's up?
It's It's multiple things. So in
Okay.
training, it's never just one thing. Some days or some weeks, there are things that maybe I'm curious about, or maybe that a certain situation that I wanted to defend better against. So I practice it in training mode. With the training dummy in training mode or practice mode, you can recreate the situation and you can start to problem solve the ways you can fight um, or defend against that certain situation. Uh, I believe that whenever you are playing, whether it's for fun or not, there are certain things that you're gonna come across in the game that you're gonna be like,
Hmm.
"I feel like I can do something there." So then I recreate the situation literally right after I play, so that's fresh in my mind, and
Hmm.
then, I start to figure out every way can I interrupt this move? Can I interrupt the string? Can I duck it? Can I step it? Can I use a rage art? Okay, maybe I should just backdash it. What can my character do? And in Tekken is about problem solving. Fighting games and competing is about problem solving,
Right.
especially because every character is so different. So my answer to fighting against this particular character will be different than somebody else and how they respond to it because of who they choose. So that's really the way I train. And sometimes it's a lot of the time, though, it's me looking at footage with my coach, especially of me playing the game, seeing where I did things right, seeing where I want to do things better. I'm not gonna lie, sometimes it's still a little hard when you watch yourself going through losing to something in particular, especially when it was so close. But then the way I see it is that's the only way you're gonna get better so that
Right.
you don't lose to the same thing twice. You need to see it.
Mhm.
You need to relive the situation so that you remember that's not what you want to lose to again. Wash, rinse, repeat. And so I think watching my footage, but also watching other people who play my character and just they play a certain way that I just really love has really helped me so much because now I can switch play styles when I need. Like my
Mm.
coach will say, like, "Hey, switch to this style," or I'm like, "Okay," yeah, and then I can uh, adapt accordingly if I need to change game plans. Um, but yeah, that's just one kind of example.
Yeah, I mean, I really like it a lot. You kind of take the Doctor Strange approach where like you just look at a timeline of, an interaction and you just kind of try to account for every which way it could go. And I think that's how you're supposed to get better. I think, and again, I don't play Tekken competitively, but just looking at the overall scope of competitive gaming in general, I think sometimes there's a lack of accountability for where I'm at, skill wise. And some people, choose to get sad and they mope or whatever. And there's a large part that sometimes, you'd have to do a little bit of that. But I do think that no matter what, you got to get back in that training room. You got to look those partners up. You got to do whatever you got to do. And you got to just, hit the ground running with it. And, I guess, my next question would be, you've been playing Tekken since the very beginning, but I noticed, Xiao Yu and Elisa Boskanovich. Why those two? And at what point in time did you know that you needed to go solo Elisa?
Yeah, so Xiao Yu, I started playing her when I played Tekken 3,
Right.
and I thought she was just super fluid. The movement was great. Like evasiveness. I love evasive characters, love movement. I've always been a movement-based kind of player. That's how I get that's how I make people make mistakes. So Xiao Yu was that for me until tag 2. She was
Okay.
still like I put her in the front, right? She would always be in the front. I'd start with her.
Right.
Elisa was like my secondary. She used to be my secondary. That's the funny part.
Right.
Because in Tekken 6, I was like, "Oh, Elisa's new to the game. She looks kind of cool. She's really appealing in terms of look, but like her style is really different than what I'm used to."
Okay.
Elisa's move list was like one of the smallest, most condensed move lists I had seen at the time. Xiao Yu had like 130 something moves.
Oh, damn.
Elisa had like 67. And I'm like, I wanna take this on. I thought it was a cool challenge. She looked
Okay.
cool. I want to try it. At one point, I really didn't think I was gonna be able to master her. I really didn't. I just didn't think it was, the I didn't think she fit my play style.
Okay.
And then, Tekken Tag 2 happened. I had them both on a team, and then Tekken 7 dropped.
Mm.
And Xiao Yu originally like, I started with her. Like, I used her a lot more, but Elisa was, like, the secondary. Xiao Yu was, like, really well-rounded.
Right.
Like, she was good, but she wasn't, like, top tier, but she was good.
He
And
was
then
good.
they, like, nerfed her in this way that did not make sense. It made it so much harder, I think, at times to play her competitively. So I let her sit in the back for a bit, and then Elisa became my main because they kept on buffing Elisa for some reason, and I
Yeah.
said, "Cool." And then I found my own way and my own style with her. But when the pandemic happened, and there were tons of online tournaments happening, like major tournaments for Tekken happening online, uh, my training partner and my coach thought that I should use Xiao Yu.
Mm.
I was in a grand final, for WSOE 2 online. I was in a grand final, and, they thought I should counter pick
Oh
with
wow.
Xiao Yu, and I
In
said,
grand finals?
"Yeah," and I said
Damn. That's a hell of
I
a
was
place.
yeah, and I said, "Guys, like, I'm like, I'm really not sure. I use her for practice, but I'm not sure if this is the time." They said, "Why not?" And I said, "Okay." I was able to reset the bracket by doing it. I was like, "Oh, okay, so maybe I'm able to really do this." Ultimately, I didn't win the final, but
Hmm.
the fact that I was able to reset it and use her to counterpick, it gave me the confidence I needed to bring her back into my roster.
Mhm.
And all the ICFCs I was in after that, all the leagues, the tournaments I did, I used her. I would switch. I would counterpick with her. She was finally back in my rotation. But I think because of the encouragement of my training partner, like my peers and my coach saying like, "Yo, your Xiaoyu was amazing. Like, believe that. Like, it's good." And I'm like, "Okay."
Shao
But they
Yu's
Well,
a
that's the
tough
encouraged me.
character.
that's the reinforcement you want from the coach, right? Like, get you to that point. So that makes sense to me. It's
Yeah, because
crazy.
I really was like, because I thought about like, statistically, like how I have to play it, it was a little. It's harder. Because Tekken 7 is a game where like you get launched once,
Ooh.
you could die. And
Ooh.
and Xiao Yu, I have to take a risk, right? So if I'm taking a risk and then I get launched for taking said risk, I'm like, sometimes you want to play it safe. You want a character who can do that without, you want a character who can do all of that without you having to risk everything.
You know that.
But there are times where throwing in that like sauce is so important. And Xiao Yu was such a big part of my competitive uh career that I'm glad I have her back for those reasons because I like you have to mix it up sometimes. Sometimes it changes how your opponent is fighting you. So
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I think, again, we all follow fighting games very well, and these rosters aren't getting any smaller. I
no.
mean, we're only adding more characters upon more characters, and the idea that you can maybe solo somebody is starting to become a little bit more far-fetched. I mean, it's not impossible, but it's difficult when there's like, 60 plus matchups to learn in these fighting games. So, I mean, obviously, you've done very well for yourself. And, to my next point, I watch a lot of E League.
Yeah.
I'm a big supporter of that, putting video games on TV and just pissing the boomers off. I'm like, yo, put that shit on TV and make them mad. Um,
And
yeah, your time at E League. I mean, talk to me about that. I don't think I've ever talked to a player, at least a fighting game player, about that whole experience.
Uh wow. That was the first televised experience I ever had like that. And it was during a time where I was still in school. It was my last semester.
Okay.
before I graduated. I played Tekken like every 2 weeks, but when I
Mhm.
wasn't playing, I was watching it. It was still on my mind, it was in my heart. But I got an email. I was one of the 20 people brought to compete on TV in E-League, something I'd never heard of at the time. And I was also asked if I want to be a captain. And there was 4 captains, I was one of them, and I was the only woman. And I wasn't used to really, like, leadership positions like that, especially for something I considered a hobby. So it really was, like, a first-time experience for me in multiple ways. E-League was amazing. The staff there really they were they were happily surprised at how well we treated everything that they did for us, whether it was the
Sure.
rooms we were in to practice or, any of, like, the accommodations that they gave us. We were all so respectful,
Mhm.
and I guess they were kinda used to people being a certain way when they were on there, I guess. But I think it was because, we were used to having to do everything for ourselves, our community.
Right.
The tech community didn't have money like that, especially the American one. So we were all just keeping the community alive by ourselves. So any opportunity we got to like give more exposure to a game we loved, why would we spit in the face of it? So we all had a really good time. I was really happy to prove myself to myself. And I was, everybody else got to see it because I was an upcoming player. I beat one of the best players in the country and the world at the time. I beat him twice,
Mm.
uh, convincingly, and he was nothing but a good sport about it. But I always respect him, and we're on the same team now for Red Bull. But that's funny.
Oh, there you
So,
go.
Let's go.
but also the fact that, like, I took out the remaining 4 players on his team, a team that was kinda predicted to maybe even take it all at one point. So, that was very interesting. I've never been in a situation where I was competing under pressure while being recorded live. I
Mhm.
had never experienced something like that. I went to tournaments, right? But that was completely different. But I learned that when I'm in that zone, there's that fire,
Mhm.
that everything I've learned, everything I was taught, um, just all came together. Uh, my training partner at the time, one of my training partners, he said like you got it. Like he pretty much he really was very confident in the fact that I knew the matchups, especially Jack, because there were 2 Jack players
Ooh, Jack is
on.
just an asshole of a character, ain't he? I tell you.
Yeah, he's, very good, but the thing is, Jack versus Elisa, I am very well trained in the matchup because my
Mhm.
training partners in the past were Jack players. Uh,
Oh,
so 2 of the best Jack players in America were on that team,
nice.
and I was very prepared for that. Um, but yeah, and then the other 2, like, I just you see those characters enough, you know what you're doing. You play in tournaments, you know what's up, and, I don't know, like, one of them used Elisa. I just counterpicked with Xiaoyu and fought against Elisa with Xiaoyu. Like, it's just their
Mm.
strategy, and I think I learned that I was capable. I was very capable of doing this in high stakes, and if I wanted to take it on full time, I could. I think it was a E-League helped me realize that. It really helped me realize that, and I still have the big ol' medal and everything, but, my team was great too. They were wonderful. They played well. Um, they were amazing, and we trusted each other, so that was cool too. Yeah.
Yeah, there's just a lot of that that I think really needs to be played into effect. And when I think of the grassroots community overall, and I again love Tekken World Tour, love Capcom Pro Tour, even like Nintendo starting to come around for Smash, but at its core, this was a grassroots thing that this community had to help build way back in the 80s at the arcades, and here we are today. And I see a lot of the stuff that you've achieved, and I don't know who laid the foundation like in the arcades back then, but like if I had to be a bet in person, I'd bet that they're like looking at people like yourself and are very happy of the things that you've done.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of the I call them the old heads. The
Old
old heads
heads?
yeah, the old heads of the community, some of, like, the old school players, like, they've told me, like, how much respect they have for me.
Mhm.
They'll just say it, or, like, if I announce something, they're like, "Yo, like, great job, you're killing it, like, she's a great, ambassador for this or
Yeah.
that," when I announce certain things, and, they support what I'm
Mhm.
doing because they also they've said, like, it's not just playing the game, it's also being great at the game, but, like, what are your morals? What are your ethics, your beliefs? How authentic are you?
Mhm.
Um, like, your brand, what does that look like? What do you care about? Who are you when you get off the stage? And
True.
I tried really hard to make that known, whether it's in my actions or what I'm doing. Like I try and show that. But like, yeah, they I've definitely gotten the thumbs up multiple times from from many people about that, and it wasn't easy,
Okay.
but it's the only it's you know I I I did what I wanted to do, and I did it my way, and I'm happy that I did. So
Hey, I hear
Much
that. Now,
respect, man. That
oh
is
yeah.
especially like not to harp on the fact being a woman, in the space, but
it's okay.
it's hard. We had like a girl, Supergirl Kells, a couple weeks ago, and she kind of had like similar experience. It's tough, but she just had the right mindset, and it really pays off. You get the respect and recognition, and it shouldn't be because you happen to be exceptionally talented and you're a woman. You're just exceptionally talented because you're just fucking good. You know what I'm saying? So I rock with that.
Oh yeah.
Right. It's just a plus that I'm a woman too.
There you
I just, it's
go.
one of those things where it's like, but I always kind of say like I'm super fortunate that I have people who love me to death, and I have bonds with them. So
Mhm.
when I play with them, they're some of the best players in the world, and I share that camaraderie, that respect, and we genuinely just genuinely want each other to continue to grow. Like that's it. Like
Oh,
and they only see that.
Mhm.
And there's never any discrimination against me in my inner circle. Like, like there's all that respect. And my community respects me. Um, and so I definitely feel like that's that safe space for me that allows me to grow and thrive continuously the way I want.
Yeah, that's what it should be all about. Now, speaking of growing and thriving, let's talk about some of your achievements. Now, obviously, I could pull up Wikipedia, I could pull up Tekken World Tour brackets, and we can talk about placements all day. But I think for people at your stature of level of play, sometimes it might not just be a matter of placements or like the Forbes 30 under 30. Like, what would you say a crowning achievement of yours is? Like, and it could be something little. It could be like, yo, I ate breakfast this one morning before, this match, and I'm happy I did that finally. Or it could be anything.
Mm. What do I think my biggest achievement is?
Well, maybe your biggest or one of your biggest. I know there's a lot because you're still writing out your history as you're in it, but it
Hmm.
could be maybe one of them.
um. Hmm.
I know I put you on the spot. I'm sorry, but I gotta know because I gotta see how your brain works.
Hmm. Okay. I think one of my biggest achievements was becoming a Red Bull player.
Okay.
It wasn't what I expected. I really, like I said earlier, I just do my thing. I do it in excellence. I put myself out there. I do my work very, very well, and I'm consistent with that. Um, Red Bull took notice of that. I really appreciate them for it, and because they felt like they knew that their their beliefs aligned with mine, and I wanted this. I didn't exactly know what it looked like, but I knew that I had one of the goals I had was to be on a team like this and to rep them. And for esports and for fighting games, that was a really big deal to me, which meant like it's like a badge that shows that I'm getting to another level in my career,
That's right.
one that will allow me to like branch out uh, and expand, not just in fighting games, but different avenues, which I've been doing anyway, but like even more so. And I
Mhm.
have resources accessible to me that makes my life easier as a player, and I don't have to struggle. Because that does happen in the fighting game community, and I'm sure you know that. I'm sure you've seen. But yeah, but along with that, I think just the fact that I achieved it, and it's something that is not easy to do because they don't just pick anybody, and which means they scout people out. They look for a while, and I stayed true to that, and I stood by everything that I believed in. I didn't have to change who I was,
Right.
and I think that's a big accomplishment for me, and being a black woman and having it and repping that, um, I think is a very very big deal for me because in terms of esports. I don't always see a lot of black women like on the competitive side, depending
Mhm.
on
True.
the game, and so I like to be that representation when it comes to that. Like, oh, that's awesome! Like, I wouldn't allow to work for this, like,
Mhm.
and it's only gonna get better for representation later. I know it because it's already happening, and I'm happy to be a part of that and the change. But I'm proud of myself, and I think that's a really big one for me because, like I said, I get to do what I love, but you know, I get it's not a struggle. It's literally like I know my worth, and Red Bull knows it too, so that's been great. Yeah.
Yeah,
Damn,
I
love it.
love that. I love that. So can we maybe talk a little bit about your time at Rebel? Because Rebel, when they pick up athletes, they don't only just pick up
Mm,
players because of their placements. And this isn't just a fighting game thing. This is just like overall, like they're picking you up because of what you do, kind of what you represent, whether obviously you choose to or not, like if it's something that you wear as a badge of honor or not or whatever. Um, and I also noticed too that like you do a little bit of hosting, a little commentary here on the side. I mean, is this kind of like the next step for Cuddle Core? I mean, I'm sure you could probably keep beating Ash forever, but are we going to see you in some different platforms soon?
So yeah, I kind of I do it here and there. I do different things here and there. So yeah, I've hosted and commentated for PlayStation, but I'm a panelist. I think I'm starting to fall into the I don't know if it might end up being a motivational speaker, but I'm a public speaker. I've done a lot of panels. I've done a lot of panels,
You going to get a
and
Cuddle Core TED Talk soon? I mean, what's up?
I'm not gonna lie. I want to someday.
Okay.
Um, I want to be very honest about everything.
Mhm.
Everything from like the good and the bad and the difficult. And I want to talk about it all. To motivate people to understand, like it's okay. I understand because I've been there and it's tough. Um, but like the accomplishments and how to focus and to stay driven. I would love to talk about those things, but I found that I love speaking and I love being able to give insight and advice to people. I think sometimes, like I said earlier, what lacks in the community sometimes is that guidance. There's no blueprint for any of this.
Right.
So I've been very happy to be kind of like that insight for people. Like people have asked me, like, "Hey, like, what can we do to like make the scene safer, or like, how can we be more welcoming for minority groups in the space?" Or when I coach, I coach women who
Mhm.
are brought on by EXO Academy,
Yep, yep, yep.
um, and I get to be that safe space for them, but they also get to be taught by someone who, is doing it, and so, like, I love that, and I think I think my next steps are definitely not just gonna be one thing. It's
Mm.
going to be multiple things, but I definitely feel like, uh, educating others, motivational speaking, panels, being on panels, giving people that insight, especially when they're trying to be pro players. Like, recently, I just did, a panel with Black Girl Gamers. They curated one with the NFL, and it was
Wonderful.
it was it was it was amazing.
Mhm.
There were tons of students who came in. It was part of like I believe like a Madden like tournament series like weekend, um, and there were undergrad students, and they showed up, and we there was like a couple of panelists um, for the event. So then we all kind of like spoke about like our different experiences and insight when it came to navigating the space as like a CEO or like a owner of an org or a pro player or someone who works with EA or something like that. And so we all gave our insight, but it was so refreshing that like there were students who hit me up afterwards and they're like, thank you so much for giving your insight. Like I feel like I could get into the seed and like just thank you so much for really just telling your story and all this. And I'm like, oh my god, like this. I'm like, oh, like it's gonna give me tears because it's like I just I want people to know like there are tons of ways you can maneuver this space as a player, and you don't have to solely play because I depending on the game you play, that's not where you're gonna find the financial stability, and you're
Right.
Right.
going to pigeonhole yourself that way. So, yeah, there's a lot of things I want to do, and I want to be a global ambassador for brands that are really close to me, that have really been a huge part in my evolution as a, an esports, player. But anyway, that's kind of where I'm at with all of that.
Yeah.
I want to do it all
I mean,
after I'm done.
I
Why
love it.
not?
That's the type of mindset you have to have. You can't limit yourself or put yourself in a box, because the great thing about esports is that there is something for everybody. Like me personally, I found out that I was absolutely free at almost fighting games I was playing. I was like, you know what? This commentary shit actually looks kind of cool. Maybe I need to be on the other side of the camera.
Yeah.
But really quick, I forgot to ask you this earlier. The tag Cuddle Core. where does that come from? Where does that originate from? And when did you know that this was going to be the tag that you're going to run with for life? Because a lot of people go through like a couple tags before they get that one that they really like.
Yeah, so it's kind of like a seamless kind of transition because at the time, like years ago, on PSN,
Mhm.
I I had another username, but I was like, I want another one. I want to change it up. And at that same time, there was a huge influence of my life, and that was Dance Dance Revolution. And
Mm.
I played it so much. And I also listened to the soundtracks, especially for Supernova, and Extreme 2 and Supernova 2. I listened
Oh
to them
my.
while I was doing homework. I was doing homework. I listened to the soundtrack. I was in 7th grade, and I loved those games so much. But there was one song I listened to a lot. It was like Murmur Twins, and it was like this cuddlecore remix, like because cuddlecore is like a genre of music, and I learned a lot about the origins of cuddlecore, uh, the genre. It's really cool, but yeah. So I was like, man, I need a new username. So then I decided to go with cuddlecore, and I didn't know that I would be tied to this name and all my accomplishments would be tied to this name like years. I didn't know. I just,
Right.
it was like, but it stuck. The other option would have been Broken Butterfly, which was the Magnum gun or whatever from Resident Evil 4, because I'm a huge Argy fan. But it worked out. It worked. But God, there are some like I always think of the alternate universe where I was Broken Butterfly instead, serious name. But I think Cuddlecore, I think it still it fits me. It still fits me.
Yeah, because I mean, there's nothing cuddly about your gameplay. I'm just gonna keep it a stack. You know what I'm
No,
saying? Like,
it's my personality. That's where it ends up coming in. The core part is where I'm just like, "Kill!"
yeah,
But, like, the the, um,
Er,
the cuddling part is just the fact that, I'm approachable, I'm
yes,
friendly, but, I'm very passionate, and I think all of that ties together with the name, so it still rings so true.
yeah. So DDR. So I mean, if we were at CEO and you weren't playing any matches, I could find you in Jabali Land playing DDR. Then
I mean, if they had it there, yeah. I thought they had, like, Pump It Up or something like that.
I
With
think
the
so.
with the
Yeah,
diagonals, I said, "The diagonals!"
yeah. He rotates every so often. I'm mad I missed it this past year, but everything going on in the world. Florida is Florida. You know what I'm saying? It's probably best just to stay home. But wow, that's crazy. Yo, I mean, I appreciate the enthusiasm, and of course I appreciate just like everything you bring to the table because we just need more of this type of energy in this fighting game space. There's so many, like you mentioned, old heads who really just want to stick to like the old way things are ran, kind of, when a new player shows up to the community, oh, you can only be this, or boom, you can only be that. But I mean, you've kind of just like, I mean, I got to be honest, I don't know if there's many people kind of like you in fighting games where you just kind of like revitalize what the genre of being a fighting game player is, not even to put you in that type of box, but brand ambassador, working with Red Bull. I mean, of course, you are on the esports team as well. And then, of course, just being this awesome ass person and just representing what you do. I can't think of very many people like that.
It's my parents never really gave me any limitations for who or what I could be, and
Right.
I think because that exists in my life. Nobody was ever gonna put me in a box.
Mm.
My first ever student from EXO Academy, she said something along the lines of like, "Nobody can ever put Kyle in a box, like ever." And I love her so much. Ugh, God, I'm about to get, but so
All right.
she's very close to my heart.
Mhm.
She because a huge part of her reminded me of myself when I was a little bit younger, even though we're the same age. I kind of feel like I take on that sister role when I coach. But yeah, no, so because of that, she's right. I can't. Nobody's ever gonna do that. I do things my own way, and I've always been that person. If it didn't feel right for me, I didn't do it. And that's just always how I was. I didn't try to conform or, mesh into something that didn't make sense to me. So yeah, there are some people who are like, this is the way it is. Like there's always gonna be people like that in any community where it's like, this is the way it's been done, this is the way it's gonna be. But then the people in those spaces who recognize that, okay, so this is the way it was done before, and yes, it was successful, but why couldn't there be other ways to do it? And it could be just as successful or even more so, even more successful than it was before. Um, and I think those people who challenge the the way things are usually done are the people who help expand communities. They
Mhm.
grow communities, and so I think really that's how it's happened for me because I was never my parents never gave me any limitations for what it could be anyway. So I'm like, fine, I'm gonna do things the way I want. If it's something I'm interested in and I'm offered the opportunity to do it, I'm gonna do it. And If I like it, I like it. And if I don't, we'll keep it moving. But there's so many things I've learned that I'm really good at by stepping outside of just playing the game. Like, like we talked about speaking,
Mm.
the hosting, the commentating. Really love commentating because I play the game anyway. So I'm already really hype about the game. So coaching, streaming, shoot, even streaming other games that aren't Tekken. I love streaming other games. I love talking to my chat. I just, you know, I I'm glad I can kind of show that there's more than one way to be successful within fighting games.
Yeah, I mean, you're definitely proving that 100%. And I for my last question, and this, I might be too early to ask, but I mean, just given all the things you've achieved, I mean, you have, lived a couple lifetimes over in Tekken in comparison to a lot of other players, but that's also because you've put in the time and effort. I mean, how long? Because I think you and I are about the same age. How long do you see yourself, being a competitor before you kind of step out and just do like the full time? I'm just shaping the next generation of player to be better people, to be stronger players, and whatnot.
The mogul move.
The mogul move. Like when do we see the cuddle core coin on on crypto? I mean, what's up with it?
Hmm. So you asked like when do I feel like I'm gonna stop competing?
Yeah.
I don't think I have an actual answer for that because I think as long as I'm around it, I'm going to want to do it. Now to the same extent I'm doing it now and have been, it's gonna be very different. It's gonna be minimal. Obviously, the older I get, it's gonna be minimal. But I'm sure you've seen like there are tons of like older players who will get like top eights and they're not even showing up to tons of stuff, but they're still active in
Yeah.
competing. They're just a little more low key. But they're still doing it. It's always gonna be a part of me. So that's my answer. It's always gonna be a part of
I
me.
like that answer.
Yeah, it's just it's bigger, smaller, but like I'm gonna be doing it. And because I just don't think for me it's something I can ever remove or get rid of. I'm a competitor
Yeah.
in everything I do. I'm competing against somebody else, and I'm competing with myself because I'm trying to be the best at whatever it is. So I just don't think it's gonna leave me. It's just it's too huge of a part of who I am. So yeah.
I respect that.
That'll
You hear
work.
that, Twitch chat? You know what I'm saying? This is a seasoned veteran competitor, right? They're not here for the games, they're not here for the money. I mean, all that type of stuff is cool.
It's the pride
She's definitely here for the pride and just the
and the
competitive spirit, the nature of the sport. I love that.
I really feel like that's I've said this a lot to my friends. I'm like, especially when our game wasn't producing crazy prize pools and pot bonuses and we were playing for pride. That was
Yeah.
it. It was who was besting who. Um and when you're playing for that, even when the money is there, even when it's gone, you know that love for it is there forever.
Mhm.
And that's what's kept this community, I think, around as long as it has. It's the energy and the spirit of the of the scene. So yeah.
Yeah, because you know what's funny is that Tekken, I've always appreciated Tekken more than some of the other fighting games. Like Street Fighter, of course, is always going to be the template, but Tekken was the one where I'm like, yo, you might have lost in Street Fighter, but you got your ass beaten Tekken. Like it's a difference. And
See me
you
in
know,
Tekken.
yeah, see me in Tekken. And so it wasn't until I want to say it was the Combo Breaker 2018, and I remember this pretty vividly. But Rick does the arena commentary, so you're sitting in the middle of the room
Yeah.
and whatever. It was I want to say it was Tasty Steve and Rip, and Tasty Steve was just absolutely losing his mind in a traditional Tasty Steve fashion, and Rip is obviously losing his brains too. But he's taking the chair and he's throwing it and shit, and that's when I realized like I think Tekken is next up.
Wait, was it
Tekken,
2019? I think it was 2019.
I think it was 2019. Yeah, you're right.
No,
You're
I'm a
right.
Tekken historian, I'm in my book,
Hey,
like look at
hey,
this.
I feel it. But
Combat
yeah, I think
2019?
it was that year. I was like, damn, Tekken is finally
It was
getting its
iconic.
flowers. It
Yeah.
was iconic. We're getting our fucking flowers, and I love this. This is so dope.
I couldn't agree with you more. It was wonderful to experience the energy being there, and yeah, the top eight specifically for me. I I was like, oh my god! Like everybody was losing their voice, but it was beautiful. Like you said, it finally getting its flowers. But I think that started happening in 2017 when the
17?
game dropped on a console. I believe it was 2017
Ah,
for America
okay.
specifically because I believe Asia
Mhm.
got the game like 2 years before us.
I remember.
So our hype for it came a little later, but I think American Tekken is some of the best Tekken when it comes to energy, talent. community. I think you'll have a good time when you come here.
Mhm. I don't know if you
Experience
know
all the
anybody at
amenities.
Tekken, but just tell them, hey, we'd like to have the game the same time as Japan has it. Because they did that with us in Tekken 6 too, if I'm not mistaken. They did
Oof.
Tekken 6 that we ended up getting BR, and I was just like, why do they get to have it so early? Why are we so late to the meta? What's up?
And I wonder if it's because of I forgot why. Because my friends have explained it to me. Because people have the same complaints.
Mm.
Totally understandable. I think it's because of maybe arcades being accessible there.
Oh, true, true.
Yeah,
Maybe
they do have that.
so try and test some things first, and then we were playing the game. We were playing. I believe maybe a year before that. I'm not too sure. We were playing Tekken in tournaments, Tekken 7 in tournaments, but we didn't have the game. So the American players were all just doing it based on like combos we would see and muscle memory and like trading strats. But like players from Asia were coming over here and like playing in our tournaments and like winning. And I'm like, but we were staying, as close as we could, but I think it was still a good learning process. But I think hopefully maybe we can all play at the same time. Hopefully at some point. Who knows?
Yes, for the next one, my fingers are crossed. Whether they do a Tekken Tag 3 or Tekken 8, I would like to have the
Ooh,
game the same time as our friends from across the pond, is all.
that would be nice. I want to be a part of the hype when it happens. Shoot.
Right. Well, Cuddlecore, I'm so happy you had a chance to get on here. I feel like I asked a lot of questions. I'm sorry, Phil and Brian. I had to fanboy a little bit. But if you guys got anything, by all means, I mean, toss it out there.
Oh, you're fine. I
covered
kind of led with
pretty
the
much
homemade
all the
waffles. I think
questions,
it made
Rob.
sense. Yeah, you
If they
took
wanted to
this
get
one.
their word in, they could have juggle comboed you against the wall and made
The
space.
wombo, man.
They didn't do shit.
Nah, that was good.
I'll leave.
Outstanding.
I'll save my 10 hit, for when I really need it.
Got you. Appreciate
No,
it.
Cuddlecore, thank you so much for coming onto the show. It was really nice talking to you and hearing your insight and your story, and just all of your just really like getting to the heart of electronic sports and what it means to be a true competitor. Yeah, thank you so much for talking about all of that with us. It was an honor to have you, and we'd love to have you again for sure.
Oh yeah, like most definitely. I'd love to come back and thank you for having me. I do enjoy being able to kind of give just insight where I can because sometimes I get busy and so
Mm.
it's hard for me to. Sometimes I don't get to fully talk about where I started, how I'm here, especially when sometimes people ask and I'm like, dang, sometimes I wish I had more time to thoroughly talk about it so that people, if they're trying to get into it, they kind of have something to base it off of, like, and they're like, okay, this is how she did it, or but like I'm glad I get to do it here, because then I can be thorough.
That's right.
Yeah, and I like being thorough when I explain things because that's just because I care a lot. So
Oh,
thank
of
you.
course.
It's obvious that you care a
Much
lot for
appreciated
sure.
again. Thank you. This is
Yeah,
dope.
appreciate all of you. Thank you. And the questions were wonderful.
Oh well, I try to do a little something, something. You know what I'm saying? I only am just a guy who likes Tekken, so I gotta show it some love.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much to all of you for having me here today. So thanks.
All right. Well, that has been Cuddlecore, and I believe that's going to take us to the end of the show. Real quick, we could talk about the Cortex winner of the week in the Shack Pet Showdown. Cuddlecore, you're free to hang around or take off if you like. Thank you again. And
Run far away, Cuddlecore. Run
yeah,
far away.
but
All right.
we definitely look forward to seeing where you go from here. Thank you so much.
Oh, no problem. Appreciate all the support and hope to talk to you all soon. Bye, everyone.
Have a good night.
Thank you. Bye. All right. Yes, thank you again to Cuddlecore. It was just incredible. Two back-to-back interviews with two of the highest profile competitors and commentators that we could get for your enjoyment, for just a awesome, like I said, introspection into what it means to be part of electronic sports.
Yeah.
But yes, let's talk about the Cortex winner of the week real quick before we get out of here. I don't think we'll do a sauce talk today. We'll save it for next week when we got. I'm sorry, Krabs. I'm sorry.
Save it for
But
next week, man. It's an interview show. Come on.
we have some good sauce talk topics to cover. We will get to it. We'll get real saucy with it. But for now, let's check out some Cortex winner of the week, some Shack Pet
Please give me
Showdown
Mad
results.
Dog. Is he
I'm
back, man?
Mad Dog is not on the list. He's nowhere to be found.
What is happening?
Out of here.
Man
What's
with the
going
briefcase
on?
wins again. 8 Mikey is nowhere to be found either. 8 Mikey is
Oh,
in the
Mikey's
lead.
not on either? Okay, that's kind of weird.
That's right. It is. Man with the briefcase takes the win. and Conan takes the win for Chatty.
Who is Conan?
Conan is a prolific Chatty member. He is a fan of retro gaming. I chat with him quite often about retro gaming, things like that in the Chatty. Weekend Geek got third place. Army of Techno, man with the briefcase, says he wasn't even trying.
He said it was 3. It was slight work.
Yeah.
That's time to get the win.
8 Mikey must be on a vacation or something because he's just getting like residual points these days. And Mad Dog is, I don't know what Mad Dog's doing, taking a break. It was actually really close between Mad Dog and Conan.
Maybe it was like his birthday or something.
Yeah, it was very close. Uh-oh.
He's here to talk your shit.
No,
talk
okay,
your shit.
I know the paycheck players got to get the hell out of here in like 2 minutes or whatever, a minute ago. So you guys can go. But there's no fucking way this show's ending without Sauce Talk. All the gyms can get the hell out of here. All the guys that don't know shit about Cortex can just see your ass out of here. I'll send you your PayPal. But the people who founded this show are here to talk about Sauce.
What are you gonna hold on? No. What sauce do you have to talk about? Because the last time it was this innate list of just terrible foods, and I was very confused. What is your sauce talk topic? What is your sauce? Okay, that was Rod. What is your sauce talk topic? Let's go.
See, that'd be good. The show too.
Wait, back me up. I'm getting the tags. I'm getting the tag. I just wanted to interview some people. I'm getting the tag. I got it. I'm turning my camera off. I'm scared. I'm back.
I want to hear these. I'm here. Talk to me.
Wait, first, real quick, Skidcore, Brian. How you gonna say 8 Mikey isn't even on the list? He's 8.
No, I said he was on the list. He's on the list.
No, you said he wasn't on the list.
He wasn't even in the running. I clarified.
You also said Mad Dog not on the list.
Yeah, Mad Dog's number 12.
Yeah,
he was the number 1 non-Shack
Their standards, that's not on the list.
Barely. Yeah,
Mad Dog standards, that's not on the list.
I don't know what definition of list you guys have, but when I see 20 players on a list and one guy is 12, it certainly sounds like he's on the list.
Top 3, man.
You know who I don't see on the list? EE or Rod or Brian.
My pets are dead, man. Thanks for the reminder. My pets are dead. Thanks for the reminder.
I don't see shit on this list. And you guys are dismissed. You guys can go. I know you don't want to talk about Sauce.
No, I want to hear your topic. I'm right here, big man. I'm waiting. I'm here.
Chris.
I ain't going nowhere.
What is this?
Chris,
well,
man.
I don't mind Sauce Talk or anything. We just had.
I know it was a long show. I get it. It's 8:30 on the East Coast. That's when the shit wraps up usually.
We Steve Tendo in a little bit. Yep.
Just two of the fastest hits, I promise.
Here, Chris, hit me.
Krispy Kreme has decided that maybe they don't think that there's a higher power out there, and they're just going to spit in the face. These people are putting Twix bars inside of donuts.
Let me
That's terrible.
I don't need any more fillings in my teeth because I love Twix.
Sweet food.
I like Twix.
I like Krispy Kreme and I like Twix.
But the Cookie Crunch.
Nobody needs to combine these two things.
Potheads.
Wait, which one? So the ones in the middle, the ones in the middle have the Twix bars?
I guess.
Because I mean, I was expecting like a Twix in the middle of the donut.
It's the ones with the lines on them.
It's this one that somebody's already got extracurricular with in this picture, apparently.
Oh well, little American Pie sample. Okay.
Damn, I did not know that was here on this page when I started rolling down.
And
not
don't be
safe
jealous.
for work.
I agree with you. I'll take Dunkin' over Krispy Kreme. We got 50 Dunkins in Canton.
I'll agree with that. I think
just because we post this don't mean we endorse it.
Superior. I will agree with that.
This is like us driving by an auto accident and pointing, not endorsing that we love accidents. We're just, hey, this happened.
That's it. That's the point of Thank you, Chris. But yeah, my point is that I take Dunkin' over Krispy Kreme. I'm not saying I like Krispy Kreme, but it's a viable option, whenever. But support your local Dunkin', in my opinion.
Krispy Kreme is like something different than a donut, though. Those things just like melt.
They're pure sugar,
candy or some shit.
Yeah.
That shit disintegrates when you eat it.
Yeah.
There's like an actual dough to like a Dunkin' donut. Whatever the hell a Krispy Kreme is like, it just disappears once it hits your mouth.
Yeah, it's definitely front loaded with sugar. Like Dunkin' actually has structure to it, because like I like to get the filled ones or like the ones with the frosting on it. I feel like they hold up better on a Dunkin'.
Those jelly ones over a Dunkin' are legit.
They are. That's my go-to because the bread is like just perfectly fried. It's just that shit's amazing.
I like
Yes,
the
raspberry
donut
ones
holes.
are good.
All right, you guys ready for the second hit?
donut holes.
Yeah, hit me.
See, now I can get behind this. Now we have some reasonable takes here. We're not
Hit me.
throwing sriracha in Sundays and saying, "Oh, I can't believe it's not good."
All right,
Let's go, Chris.
we've
I
got
just want
a
to have
cereal.
enough time to talk to the guests. That's all I wanted. I just wanted ample time, like as much.
Oh, look,
that's all. That's all.
Excellent
My bad, Joe.
interviews. Excellent interviews.
My bad.
they were
My bad.
great.
I didn't hear anything about Overwatch today, so that's a plus.
You're lucky.
And,
I
yeah.
almost sprinkled something in there for you. I was like, "How do you feel about Overwatch, Cuddle Core?"
Did
Talk
you
to me.
guys not talk to Waffles about the Oaktown Throwdown though?
Oh,
No, I don't know
Aw.
if that's
Is that
is it an
announced?
ultimate tournament or a melee tournament.
Melee.
It's a Smash tournament that's going down at the new Parkway here in Oakland.
Can we get some Blake
yeah.
coverage, man?
I'm thinking about it. I don't know. I'm still taking cautions where I can, but New Parkway is down the street from me, and I love that spot. So
Chris, what's this other story, man? Hit
All
me.
right,
let's get to the other
second
story.
quick hit. The folks over at Post who make cereal are remixing Fruity Pebbles to
Wait,
Magic
like
Fruity
what?
Pebbles, and they're also going to package them with a pair of new Nike LeBron James 19 Magic Fruity Pebbles
What?
shoes.
It's like the prize in the box.
okay.
I don't know. I just
So,
made that
Come
second
in the
part up.
box.
I actually kind of like this because the Fruity Pebble colorway on the LeBron, just silhouette in general, is one that, when they released, they shouldn't have been as generally released to the public as they were. I feel like that's a very collectory item type of shoe, and so I'm glad they're taking this type of route.
Are you a
because
shoe
that
elitist?
colorway- I mean, me and Blake might be working on a little something to talk about this type of stuff in the future, but I am a shoe elitist. That also happens to like Pokemon cards and video games.
I'm
You
confused.
have a
Is it
like Kicks convention that you run.
What is
right,
magic
man?
about these Fruity Pebbles?
They
is it
turn
the,
them
is it the
purple.
cereal or the shoes we're focusing on here?
The milk changes color.
No,
Yeah,
it's the cereal that we're focused on. Oh, by the way, I saw in the announcement, March 7th is National Cereal Day, which is another bullshit day that they pulled out of their ass. But maybe next week we should focus
Cereal.
on cereal for Sauce Talk.
I'm gonna be honest. I've never had Fruity Pebbles, so I can't really comment on this. I don't know if
What?
they're good.
missing
I'm
much.
listening
They're
to.
okay.
You
They're
should
not bad.
probably try them before you pass.
They get soggy too quickly.
I agree.
I like-
They're like
I like
shitty
Fruity-
Rice Krispies.
They're thinner. They're like thinner. It's like
Yeah.
if you shaved a Rice
Flattened.
Krispie in half.
The
Right.
real life hack
I'm
is you make
listening.
Rice
Right.
Krispie treats out of these instead of real Rice Krispies.
Corn Pops.
Krabs knows what he's talking about, though. I've made Rice Krispie treats
Yeah, if
using
you make
Fruity
Rice
Pebbles.
Those are legit.
Ain't put weed in them.
Chef's kiss. Oh yeah,
Mhm.
I've done that too. But that's
But
a
I
story
don't. I
for
still
another
want to know
time.
what the magic is about this.
It
It says
turns the
the
milk
milk
purple.
color, but
Yeah.
I think the regular ones do that too in my
Yeah, the
extensive
regular one-
35-year history with Fruity Pebbles.
Yes, the regular milk,
Yellow pebbles.
it's
that
like a
change your milk
rainbow.
purple.
because like Fruity Pebbles has all these different colors in it, so like your milk turns into like a rainbow basically.
But now
Yeah.
your
You
milk
know,
looks
kinda
like
like-
you stabbed Grimace inside the bowl.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
is purple, I guess, is the
Yes.
thing.
Purple.
Yeah,
So
when your
all these
kid
things are
has-
gonna bleed purple, I guess, into the
When-
milk.
yeah, but like the thing is when your kid has a green shit the next day and starts screaming, like you're gonna hope that you remember that they ate these Magic Fruity Pebbles the next day.
Wait, what kind of kids are you hanging out with where this is happening?
No, because this
Yeah, I'm
you have
concerned.
too much. You eat too much food coloring. It changes the color of your poop.
I've gotten baked and eaten
I've
like 2
heard-
boxes of this at
Ladies and
once, and I
gentlemen.
have never
I've never really
uncontrollably
looked back
shit
after
green.
I
Yeah,
was
Bud
talking.
Light.
Left the
Kinda-
building.
I just kind of
Oh,
have
shit.
been wiping and flush. I never really like looked back at it, but that's. I
Oh,
didn't
you
know.
got to, man.
Nah, I got a
Very
bidet.
important.
Those days are over for me.
It's
I
important.
don't look at shit.
Well,
Health talk.
someday.
What's happening?
I got robots
Well,
taking care of me,
it's
son.
Sauce talk now. Let's get. At any rate, it turns
Sorry.
purple. There you go.
Yeah,
I
we-
don't know. Fruity Pebbles are so.
But now it's a
I've
real
stopped eating
episode.
cereal. I've
Yeah.
not eaten cereal in over a year.
And yeah, like
because,
someone else, please win Shacknews. I don't want to. I'm not even trying. It's just my
Man.
dog's super cute. That's all that's happening here. Like
there are a lot of Lola picks up there, right, for people to challenge.
I
right?
think they're like Lola is about 7% of the amount of images that are on Shack Pets right now. So it's not like the majority or anything. I think 8 Mikey has close to 11% of the platform are his pets. Everyone's sleeping on the real champion that's rising here. Morgan Shaver, our newest editor at Shacknews,
Hey, shout out to Morgan.
won.
Yeah, they've been
They
crushing it.
won Shacknews for the day. They won several times last week, and we're second place in the weekly standings. Less than 1,000 points between us. So like it's not like there's no one playing this game. It's definitely people with pets on our staff who all think our pets are cuter than each other. But yeah, also 1PR. They won on Friday, which is kind of wild. It's the first time that Chewy. That's the other. It's another video game company where a dog runs things over there. But yeah, Chewy the corgi over at 1PR.
I love Chewy. I have met Chewy in person.
1PR, highest ranking I've seen them on the weekly. Number 6 overall. And then yeah, Blake, nice placing, 3rd overall.
Nice.
I think you also won last week. You won.
I won. I think Friday or Saturday.
I think you won Saturday.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's people winning right now. And 8 Mikey, I don't know what he's doing.
He took a break. It's probably just his squad getting points for
Mad Dog,
him.
baby.
He also did. 8 Mikey did this with regular good old fashioned Cortex too. Remember, like he was obsessed with it for about 3 months, and then he just stopped.
He's moved on.
I wouldn't say he moved on. There's some updates coming to this app that he'll probably jump back in for. But yeah, it's I think when you play the app as intensely as he does, you will burn yourself out. It's like playing any game.
Yeah.
Right. And when you're putting the amount of time you have to put into the app to put up 800,000 points in a day, it requires multiple days and voting on everything. Right. But yeah, we have a ton of updates coming to the app, so I think people will be jumping back in. But yeah, it's also crazy. You know, the last week's been nuts. Obviously, like all the stuff going on in the world. Obviously, our show's a distraction from that. Shack Pets provided a distraction for a lot of their users last week. We saw a huge spike in uploads and also just votes and activity. So that's great. We love to see that. We like that we are providing people a distraction from the terribleness right now. But yeah, it's really interesting to look at this leaderboard because there's some old school Shackers on there and there's some brand new users. I think it's an interesting mix of those two things.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised that an app like Shack Pets wasn't made earlier, only for the simple fact of like there's apps like Fiverr, you know, where you can like just look for random gigs. There's so many like kind of apps that just cater to a specific type of thing. And I was like, there's so many people online who always ask for pet pictures and, you know, just, you know, how can I interact more, make my pets more interactive? And I'm like, okay, Shack Pets, I get it. Like, I mean, of course, I don't have pets anymore, but like I've always told people, like it makes sense.
I think the idea is, you know, Instagram exists already, Twitter exists already, Facebook exists already. Why should I try to defeat any of them with a new app? And my thesis, if you ever go back and watch the direct, is that we need more focused communities that are just, you know, Smashboards, for instance, was really good for its time, right? Just creating a place for Smashers to communicate with each other. Basically taking that idea and applying it to anything. I think your Sneaker Expo, that could be its own app where people just talk about shoes. You know what I mean? But I think a lot of people think that, oh, there's only 3 social media outlets and YouTube. We should just all work on those 3 things. I think what users of Shack Pets are liking is the focus and that there are no comments, there are no DMs. You know, if you don't have to go to shacknews.com to use that app. You know, like you have to have a login, but it's really outside of even the website itself. You don't have to chat with anyone to use that app. You can, and you don't even have to have a pet now. You can just log in and look at an endless stream of pet pictures.
Yeah, which I mean, there's a level of conveniency to it that I feel like, you know, when you have it on a Facebook platform or Twitter, like there's extra steps that you have to use. Like whether it's I gotta type in a specific hashtag and search for a while to find pet pictures, where now I just have the conveniency at my fingertips.
You may follow me on Twitter, and I have, I don't know, 4,000 tweets a day. Maybe 20 of them are about Lola. It's different. This is just the pets. And I think, and it doesn't even involve you. The clout goes to your pet on the app, and then obviously to you and the scoreboard over here. But yeah, I think that's really what people have been really fixated on. Also, I can tell you a lot of people have told me in the last month or the last week even that it de-stresses them. It's something that I use at the end of the day. Like I said, I'm not really challenging people on it, but I will vote because I like to help people win. Yeah, I'll vote for my friends' pets if I recognize them and stuff. But yeah, I think it's a de-stressing thing for people and they appreciate it. And yeah, like everyone wants us to buff the chatty points. That's not happening because I really think images should be worth more than a post. Yeah, and images should be worth more than a tag and stuff. So we're not going to change the way that the point system works right now. because we want people to use the app. We think that uploading pet images is probably better for society than most of the things that you're going to post to the platform. I will consider buffing Cortex, the creation of Cortex articles, because I think that they are kind of underpowered right now.
Buff Reader too.
No one uses Shacknews Reader. I actually used it today. It's me and Bill Lavoie. We use Shacknews Reader. It's if you like RSS feeds, or you can even put your YouTube channel on it, and it's a feed of chronological posts of all of your YouTube stuff right there.
I've been using Twitter Blue for reader type stuff, so I mean I'm familiar with that type of format. And honestly,
you paid for Twitter Blue and they still didn't verify your ass.
Look, we gotta break balls. Why we gotta put salt in the wound?
Point and laugh.
Damn.
Go away. I downloaded it though, really, because I wanted to post longer videos, because I can't do that, And if you're verified, you can post longer stuff per request. But I was like, okay, we got long takes on the show. I figured $3 a month, longer takes I can post. It's cool, whatever.
Well, the good news is I paid for it at the Shacknews account, so we're gonna be uploading 10-minute clips on Shacknews Twitter soon, especially from this show. But yeah, that's it. I just wanted to jump in here and make sure we did Sauce Talk, because it's the best part of the show.
I noticed that.
So without Sauce Talk.
I noticed that immediately when we started that, everybody's blood pressure skyrocketed.
Today's episode was like extraordinary. You had two banger, like amazing guests, like icons. You know what I mean?
Thank you.
I don't want to say that this episode was lesser or anything. I'm just saying the average Garden Variety episode where we have to talk about Overwatch League or Apex Legends, Sauce Talk ties a nice bow on.
Yeah, we need the Sauce Talk.
Look, Snake Wasp gave us 100
Snake Wasp
Corgo bits.
Thank you for the corgi bits.
Yeah, well, that wouldn't have happened without Sauce Talk.
That's right.
Let's just be real. Sauce Talk gets the corgi bits. That's all there is to it.
This is better than most weeks when Brian never shuts up about his model trains.
Hey, I like my trains, all right?
Yeah, whatever.
Are you playing Wipeout 64 still?
Yes.
Okay. How many episodes do you think that stream's going to be?
It's been one full 1.5 episodes so far. It'll probably take me at least one more.
And just for folks at home, Brian does a show called Skankcore 64 on Wednesdays and Sundays. How many games into this are you? I know your goal is to play every North American release of N64.
I have now beat 30 games, so Wipeout 64 will be the 31st. Nice. Snake Wasp was actually trying to raise your spirit in chat yesterday by claiming that Wipeout was better than F-Zero. He was trying to bring you out of the woodwork.
Everyone knows Extreme G is the real crown jewel of that library.
Yes. No, we all know F-Zero is definitely better than Wipeout 64.
It's fine. I know I'm not among F-Zero Twitter right now. It's all good.
No, but yeah, it's been a lot of fun. But I think that's gonna do the show. We got some Steve Tendo coming up soon. He's gonna be playing Metroid on the NES, classic original Metroid.
Oh shit!
So that should be a lot of fun. Make sure you check that out. Make sure you get on the hype train. Thank you so much for the gifted sub, Weekend Geek.
That's Blake.
Very much appreciated. Yep, I know it's Blake.
He's right.
Are we sure though?
Right here.
He's like,
I mean, I'm on the camera right now, and that just happened. I mean,
Blake, your branding sucks, dude. Weekend Geek, Samurai Lincoln. Your name is Blake. Get that shit uniform, bro.
Damn.
I'm telling you, get it uniform, bro. Visu everywhere. Blake, catch my guy.
Out.
Damn.
Where did this
That's some sauce talk for you.
Wow.
Damn.
Wow. I had no idea.
Blake in like 2 months. I gotta give him a chance.
I didn't realize that was a brand. I'm flattered that you think I
potential. He's also Prof Robot on Twitter to make it even more.
See, I just can't keep up with anything. Blake, you got anime identities, bro.
I got a multiple personality thing going on for sure. I don't know what to tell you. I'll do my best to unify myself under one brand.
He's Blake Morse on Chatty.
Damn.
At least it says Blake.
You guys just continue to kick him while he's doing it. Cool.
I'm not kicking him. I just said his name.
See, here's the thing. Weekend Geek was like a pretty good brand back when I was using it.
Yeah.
You know, we were pretty successful like in the early days of Twitch. We were doing stuff that people are just now really starting to do, like live streaming like concerts, like chiptune concerts and stuff like that, doing interview shows, doing weekly news shows. Like I was on the forefront of all that shit. Like I'm not trying to be like bitter towards people that like
it's
are more
also
famous
like
than me, but
that's like hanging on to phenomenal EE. Like eventually you had to
I
move on.
definitely made the Twitter account. I still have ownership of it.
I've thought about
Eventually
changing.
you had to move on from
I did
phenomenal
have to
EE,
move on
right?
though. I did have to move on.
Yeah.
You want me to
You'll
just
always
be
be
Prof
phenomenal in my
Robot?
book.
See, Prof Robot, like I don't know. Maybe I should just be Prof Robot. I don't know. We'll talk about my branding later. I know you guys want to get going. So.
I mean, I'm
There you
Rod
go.
on everything. So, I mean, I didn't even get a cool name. I'm just.
And they still won't verify your ass.
I know.
Switch
what are you doing? What are you doing, boss? You just show up today attacking me? What is it?
It's
All
just
right.
because I
right.
also can't get verified. It's funny.
If you can't get verified, and I know I'm definitely not getting verified anytime
I got
soon.
all these other people on Shack verified.
I'm not getting verified.
No, probably not.
No.
Yeah, the day that happens, the day I delete my Twitter.
Tristan can be like, I don't want this check mark. I'm out.
All right. I think that's the show, though. We got to get out of here. Steve Tendo's coming up very shortly, less than 10 minutes away. Please stick around for some classic Metroid. That's right.
Actual OG Metroid.
Yes, one of the best games
A
ever
classic.
created.
A
One
true
of the greatest
classic.
franchises ever made. Yes.
That ending where you remember in kindergarten or first grade when everyone was like, "Oh my God, Metroid's a girl." Do you remember that? Do you remember that talk around like
I
the
do.
lunch table or whatever?
For the Super Nintendo version, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I like. If I had friends, I probably would have.
EE, are you gonna be streaming Lizard Lick or anything tonight?
Nah, I'm going. I got a date.
Oh,
Yeah.
Ooh.
Let's see how that goes.
get out of here then.
All right. Well, EE's got a date. We got Steve Tendo. That's a Wide World of Electronic Sports episode 121 in the books. Done. Thank you so much to our guests, Homemade Waffles and Cuddlecore, again, for joining us for their awesome interviews. Greatly appreciated. An honor to
Big
have
ups
you
to
both.
them. Big ups to
Yes.
them.
And that's
Yeah.
going to do it from everybody here. That's WWES. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.